I'd like to say, first of all, thank you to everyone for being here, and thank you especially to Kay Gunyon. Kay is the representative from the University of Indianapolis. We got to meet earlier this year when I was out in town and had a really nice visit at the university, and we weren't able to get you here in the last fair, so we're really happy that you get to be here today. So we'll give you the rest of the time then, since we missed a little bit here at the beginning. So everyone, please feel free to give your attention to Kay.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for being here, and thank you so much to Andrew and Marielle for making it possible for me to speak with you today. I'm sorry about the delay. I just wanted to be fashionably late and fit in, so I hope that worked out for you. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the University of Indianapolis. I'll just give you some highlights about the university, and then we'll get to the part that you probably really want to hear about. Which is admission requirements, scholarships, and that sort of thing. So let me see if I can manage to share my screen. All right, I think we're on the way to get that done. Okay. So here is a photo from the University of Indianapolis. You'll notice our full name at the bottom of the screen, and then on the middle it says UIndy Information Session. And I just want to point out that UIndy is our nickname. And here is a scene from one of our favorite campus events. It's our Celebration of the Flag event. And that's where our international students, and we have right now, we have about 300 international students from 70 countries. And that's where our international students get to parade with their flags, kind of like in the Olympics opening ceremony. So it's one of the big events we have all year long. And we have about 23 students now from Central and South America. And we do have 2 Peruvian students, which we're really pleased about. We have Stefano, who is studying business management as an undergraduate or bachelor's level student. And he is also a swimmer on our swim team. And then we also have a graduate student, a master's student of sports information. UIndy is a private university associated with the United Methodist Church. We are ranked among the 10% of U.S. universities which are considered national universities. And we're mid-sized. We have about 5,500 students altogether. You probably don't know where Indianapolis is. If you do know, I'm proud of you, but we're kind of in the middle of the country. About 3 hours from Chicago by car. We're actually south of Chicago. It's hard to tell that from the map here. But Indianapolis is a city of about 1 million. So it's still small enough that it's relatively inexpensive compared to Chicago or the coast. We have a lower cost of living, and it's also convenient because it's small enough that it's easy to get around. And still, there are lots of opportunities. There are opportunities for fun things to do, and I'll be talking about the professional opportunities in our town. Next, I have a short video. It's just 1 minute long. It's, see if it will play with my University at sunrise. You get a look at the campus. So to get into the academic side of things, we have over 100 different undergraduate, bachelor's level majors. So we generally have the things that students are looking for. In particular, our international students tend to be interested in business, various IT, computer majors, health sciences, including sports-related programs, sciences such as biology, chemistry, and engineering. We won't be talking about it in detail today, but we also offer master's programs, including MBA, data analytics, sport-related programs, and doctoral programs in the health sciences. Our average class size is 17, and I think the thing that we really excel in is preparing students for professional success by guiding them from theory into practice using a hands-on learning experience. For example, in our sciences, students spend more than half their time in the laboratory and in doing research. In the health sciences and in kinesiology, students, as they advance in the program, are working with clients and patients directly. In programs such as design, writing, and public relations, we have student-run companies who are doing projects for outside organizations. And we also have a radio station and a TV station. In business and engineering, our students do consulting projects for outside companies. For example, in business, there was an outside company who wanted to expand to the UK, and they asked our students to do a market analysis for them. In engineering, one of the local utility companies wanted to have a mobile water delivery system, so they asked our engineering students to design and build that for them. In engineering, as an example of how we integrate different majors together, here is an example of engineering students who are doing a business-related activity. So here we have some engineering students. The two young women on the right are international students. The one on the left is from Nigeria. The one on the right is from Honduras. And the young man speaking in the microphone, I think he's a US student, but he had done study abroad in Brazil. In this is our engineering pitch competition, in which groups of engineering students will conceive of a product, make a prototype, figure out how they're going to manufacture it, figure out how they're going to market it, determine the financial, make a professional presentation, and then they have the opportunity to present it to industry leaders in our community. All these activities are coordinated by the faculty in the various programs, but they are really helped along by my favorite office on campus, which is the Professional Edge Center, our career center. And here I have another short video where our Professional Edge Center staff tell you about their philosophy and some of their activities.
At the University of Indianapolis, we take great pride providing our students with a small school feel and big school experiences.
Students consistently rate the ability to develop personal relationships with faculty and staff as one of their favorite things about UIndy.
Nowhere is that more true.
Let's see. I'll skip the video. Are you still able to hear me? Okay, great. All right. So we'll skip the rest of the video, but you got the idea. So as these students are getting professional experiences, it ultimately leads to internships in most cases. So we've had international students who've done some great internships. An example I like to use is Paula from Venezuela. She worked in my office, and she was also very intelligent, very determined. She was a physics major and a computer science major. And she worked with her faculty members and told them she really wanted to do an internship. So After her freshman year, she did an internship at the Pittsburgh Supercomputing Center. And then after her sophomore year, she did an internship at Google. And all this means that students go on to get great jobs, a lot of them. For example, we had an international student, Hussein, from Saudi Arabia. He was a computer science major, and he had a campus job in the library, and he noticed that some of our information systems weren't what they could be, so he helped to redesign the library information system. Supervisor was obviously very impressed with this, gave him a great recommendations, and then he graduated and put all his stuff in his car and drove out to California, and he ended up getting a job at Apple. So we're really proud of them. And I mentioned campus jobs, so they are available to international students. Here is Adam Fernandez, and he is a graphic design major doing a campus job in our marketing department. It's not all academic, so getting to know people, interacting with people, and having fun is important too. So we have more than 70 student organizations on campus that are active right now. And you can see the categories and some examples on the screen. I wanted to tell you about our student organization of Latinos, or SOUL is their abbreviated name. And obviously that's a student organization for Latino students. They recently did a Dia de los Muertos activity for our campus community. Before that, they showed the movie Coco, and they served hot chocolate and conchas, the Mexican cookies. But I think the most popular thing they do are their dance parties where they give lessons, because we need to learn how to dance well, like you all. And we also do a lot with sports. Indianapolis is a big sports city. We are an NCAA Division II video and so on. We are one of the best Division II schools in the country. So it can be difficult to get on the team. You really need to be at a high level. And if that does not work out for you, we also and you can just play soccer or whatever you want to do, basketball with your friends too. Halfway through this portion of the presentation, I just want to mention that we do have campus housing. It is optional for most students. It ranges from the classic kind of residence hall with a double room restroom down the hall for freshmen, and then we do have 3 apartment complexes for students as they get older and move through the program. Now into the admission process and requirements part. So for our freshmen or first year students, if you're studying in the Peruvian system, we require at least a 12 out of 20 or the equivalent of a 3 out of 4 or B average in the US system. We do require documentation of English proficiency. We take the big popular tests, IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, PTA, and if you have done an international school curriculum like IB or A-levels, then English proficiency, additional documentation of English proficiency is not required. SAT or ACT are not required. The process is pretty easy. You just apply at uindy.edu/apply. There is currently no fee to apply. There will be no fee to apply in 2023. Starting in 2024, we may institute an application fee, but it's free at the moment. We do make provisional decisions based on documents that students upload themselves. So after you apply, you'll have access to an application portal, and you can just upload your documents, and then we will We'll verify what we can, and we will make a provisional decision. The academic year in the U.S., as you may know, starts in usually August, September. So we start in August, and then we have another intake in January, which is halfway through our academic year. We don't really have deadlines, but if you want to start in August, for example, you really need to apply by July 1st at the very latest, just in order to get through the process in time. And occasionally we do fill up before that. So the earlier you get your application in, the better. Generally, you can apply up to about a year in advance. Then if you decide you want to attend UIndy, you would pay a deposit. If you're going to live on campus, the deposit amount is $150, and that would go toward your total charges. Then when you get to Indianapolis, you'll need to finalize your admission if we didn't have everything official from you already. So we do allow students to bring their official paper transcripts and so on with them to finalize everything when they arrive. Most important screen is the second to last screen here when I talk about costs. So our tuition and fees for the current academic year, now keep in mind that started last August and it will run until May of 2023. That's about $35,000, but we do offer a scholarship or automatically give a scholarship to every admitted student. For first year freshmen, the scholarship amount will range from $10,000 to $19,000 per year, and the amount depends on your high school GPA. If you're going to live on campus, the cost varies quite a bit depending on your living arrangement and the meal plan you choose, but a standard double room, 15 meals per week, would be a little bit under $12,000 per year. And another piece of good news is that at the University of Indianapolis, international students pay the same as U.S. students. So last screen here, that is my contact information. I will leave this up for a minute in case you would like to take anything down. So my title is Director of International Admission, but actually I work directly with undergraduate bachelor's level students. So if you do choose to apply, then you'd be working directly with me. So do we have any questions today? Yeah, I see that. So does the university have scholarships for soccer players? Yes, we do. You would need to contact the coaches directly. And if you would like to contact me, I'll type my name in the chat too in case type my email in the chat too in case anyone missed that. Just a moment. If you would like to email me, I'd be glad to give you the soccer coach information. You can also just Google UIndy athletic directory, and then you can find all the coaches' contact information. As I said before, you really need to impress the coach. The good thing about soccer is that we do have sort of a junior varsity team. We have 2 teams. So even if you can't get on the main team, it's possible to get on the second team. But you really will need to impress the coach. And someone asked, can you work outside the university? So yeah, let's talk about working in the US on a student visa. So the first opportunity you have, which I talked about, would be to work on campus. That's always permitted up to 20 hours per week. And then after you've been in the US a year, you have the opportunity to work outside the campus under curricular practical training, abbreviated CPT. Under curricular practical training, you have to be working in your field of study, and you have to be earning university credit for your experience as well. So it's really an internship. So before you graduate, you are allowed to do 1 or more internships, working off campus, getting university credit like you would if you took a class, and also earning money. Then after you graduate, you're allowed to work while still on your visa, on your student visa, under optional practical training, abbreviated OPT. And if with OPT, you are allowed to work for 1 year for most majors, but if you are in a STEM field, you are allowed to work for 3 years while still on your student visa. So after you graduate, you have a certain amount of time, a couple months, I think, to look for a job. And then if you get a job, you can be granted OPT, which allows you to stay 1 year or 3 years while still while still on your student visa and working in your field. And obviously, you're getting paid at that point. Other questions? What are some things that you all are interested in studying? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me spend a minute talking about those things. Let me write them down so I don't remember if I don't forget. So business, art, theater, music is what I heard, I think. And let me know if you think of others. So, yeah, our School of Business has several majors. I'll test myself, see what I can remember. So the most general major is business administration and management. We have finance, information systems and business analytics, supply chain management, and I'm forgetting, but I think there are a couple others as well. So our School of Business, of course, is very internship oriented, very hands-on. I believe the faculty have an average years of experience working in the field, something like 15 years on average. So they all work in their areas and they maintain connections with their industries. So they bring faculty to campus to meet with students, do presentations. I told you about the consulting projects they do. They will take students on trips to visit various business facilities. And they also have a lot of really neat clubs. There's at least one club for every area of business. And I highly recommend that in university, even if you're really busy, that you get involved with student organizations, at least in your major, because it really adds value to your experience. Then in art, we have visual communication design. You saw the one, well, that's graphic design. You saw the one photo of the one student from that area. We also offer studio art and art therapy. And our university was the first university in the state of Indiana to receive specific accreditation in art. We also have a master's in art. Theater we have as well. That is a nice small department where the students get to experience all the aspects of being in theater. So scene design, acting, directing, and so on. And then the students put on, I think, 4 productions per year. And music, we have music performance, music technology and recording. I might be forgetting some there. We have a beautiful performance hall. If you go to our website, you'll probably see some photos of that. And I see we have some more questions in the chat. Finishing the 5th year of secondary, they can enter the university. So I must admit, I did not brush up on, I assume that's speaking of the Peruvian educational system. So how many years of secondary are there, Andrew or someone?
Yeah, so actually that will be that's correct, because the 5th year of secondary will be the final year of high school in the Peruvian system. So then they would be eligible to apply while they're finishing, or you, as you said, they could finish applying after the year is over, since you do accept applications into June or July, but they could also apply early while they're still in high school before they have their final grades, and then they could complete the report, right? So
Good
yeah.
point. Yeah, because I have noticed many international students think that they need to graduate high school and then apply to university. But no, you can go ahead and apply to university while you're still in high school. So that sounds fine. And someone else asked, living inside the university is temporary. So I guess this means may a student live on campus and then live off campus? Yes. However, for the academic year, which remember starts in August for us, to live on campus, you sign a contract. So when you sign a contract, you're starting in August at the beginning of the academic year, and you sign a contract to live on campus. That means you're committed to live on campus that entire academic year. If you make some friends, find a house off campus, decide to move off campus, that's fine, but you have to pay a penalty. So for example, for students who signed a housing contract last August and now they're coming back in January and they thought, oh, now I want to live in an apartment off campus, they have to pay a $2,000 penalty. So it's a pretty big penalty. But the earlier you decide you want to change your mind and move off campus, the smaller the penalty is. But it's year by year. Or if you start in January, then you're only committed until May, till the end of the academic year. So I hope I answered that question. If I didn't, please.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there a requirement for international students to live on campus during any period of time?
There is not. So our students who are more borderline for admission, so we actually do admit some students who are below that B level, below the 12, but they are required to participate in certain support programs, and they are required to live on campus. But if they have a good reason to not live on campus, they can submit a petition, and I've never seen the petition denied. So in a sense, it's really optional for everyone. And what careers are focused on letters? Can you help me interpret that, Andrew? Okay, yeah. Okay, so what majors are in this area? So we have some great English majors. I've actually taken some of those classes, so it's really useful for writing for the web and that kind of thing. We have another popular department with international students is history, international relations, and political science. Philosophy and religion. I don't know if you want to consider sociology, humanities. I think that's debatable, but sociology, social work we have. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Communication. That's very popular. That's where our radio station is, TV station. We do sports journalism through that area. We have a newspaper as well. I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but those are the ones that come to mind. I know, and I'm getting old, so it's really hard. Yeah. Yeah, so Indianapolis is a great sports city. You probably know some of our professional teams like the Pacers, but it's actually a great amateur sports city too. So there are over 75 sport organizations in Indianapolis, including the NCAA headquarters is there. So that's a natural for us. And we also have always done a lot with health sciences. And our exercise science program is related to that. So there's a lot coming together there that really makes sport a great thing to study at Indianapolis. So we do have sport management, as you mentioned. That's the business side of sports. We have exercise science, which guess what is the science side of sports. So Sport management, you'd be managing sport organizations, not in K through 12 schools, but in any other setting, or working in like sports marketing, that kind of thing. Exercise science, as I said, it's science. So there you'd be working with clients, either like with personal training kind of thing, or exercise prescription. If someone has some type of injury or like a cardiac issue, then they may work with an exercise scientist to get their exercise regime up. And there's also the opportunity to work with athletes, so to work with amateur and professional athletes in that area. I mentioned sport information is offered in our communication department. I think that's all of them. So I guess the other thing I'll say about the sports industry is for people who are interested in athletics, it's a very attractive major to go into. It's a very competitive field. I'm not saying it's competitive to get into the program, but to find a job, because everyone, would like to work in sports. It's a dream for so many people. So what the faculty have told us is really who you know, your contact, is the key to everything to work in the sports field. So because so much in sports is focused on Indianapolis, because our faculty have so many connections, there's so many volunteer opportunities. Students can work the Final Four in NCAA basketball, and just so many. We've had the Super Bowl, American football Super Bowl in Indianapolis. So our students, the Special Olympics, our students volunteer at all those things and do lots of internships. So you really have the opportunity to meet people in the field and make a good impression. So you can get an entryway into that competitive field. Sure. Oh, yes. So yeah, so my first initial and last name, so KGUNYON at UIndy.edu, and I will be your admission counselor, assuming that you are going to be studying at the bachelor's level, and assuming you are an international.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Kay. I think we'll leave it there then. If there's no further questions, last call.
All right. Well, thank you as well. I really appreciate the opportunity, and hope we can meet again sometime. And I look forward to hearing from some of you.
All right. Thanks again, Kay. Really appreciate you being able to come
All
out here
right.
for the fair.
Sure. Bye now.
All right. Take care. We'll have our...
Bye. Thank you.
All right, and
welcome.
everyone who's in attendance, we're encouraging you to stay around. We're going to be having another presentation here at 6, so we'll be using the same exact links. So if you want to step out for a bit, you can, or you can stick around and wait till that comes on. We have West Virginia coming up in 15 minutes.
Thank you guys for having me. Just a quick question. Could the audio and video be enabled whenever I share my PowerPoint? Awesome.
Without further ado, let's give the floor to Gary, and I'll let you talk to everyone here. We will have some space for questions at the end as well, so feel free to use the chat or raise hand later on to ask questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Andrew. Again, so my name is Gary Laruda. I'm an international admissions counselor here for West Virginia University. I primarily work with undergraduate students. However, if there were to be any questions from any graduate students interested in either master's or PhD programs, I'll be more than happy to answer those ones at the end of the presentation. The presentation is kind of brief. It's not that long. I will use this a typical format from PowerPoint rather than going full screen, just because if I go full screen, I lose all imagery and I'm not able to control everything. So apologies for that. But for anyone interested, here's my contact information. I will go back to this slide at the end, where you can send me any questions that for some reason we're not be able to address today. Before we start, we'll show you a quick video just to give you an idea of what campus looks like, and then I'll start elaborating a little bit more on what the university is as far as rankings, scholarships, cost of education, etc. So hopefully you will be able to get audio also through this. Let's see.
This is West Virginia University, home of Mountaineers. We're talking like real Mountaineers, none of that fake stuff. The West Virginia Mountaineers. Of champions, pioneers, record breakers, scholars. And this is our jam. We're home to the largest crime scene training complex in the country, the first institute in the world devoted to studying human memory. And we're making headlines in all these places too. This is WVU, where we do the highest level research, seeking cures, building hope, hunting pulsars, discovering new technologies, proving Einstein's theory. Wait, this list just keeps going. You don't expect me to read all these, do you? This is WVU, where being unique and proud of it is in the blood, where he can find rhythm and engineer his future, where she can compete on the field and on the stage, and where our president can inspire us to be ourselves, which is a pretty good thing to be. Where a little grit and determination can literally take you anywhere. I'm gonna go flying. This is WVU, a family of distinct campuses, just a short drive from here, here, and here. Where a degree opens doors for anyone, from anywhere. Where you can dig into your passions, create your own niche, and find purpose. This is WVU. Our students are realizing their own visions, leading their own adventures, and writing their own stories. Shh, oh, sorry. I forgot we were in the library. And when you become a Mountaineer, you'll never have to go it alone. Because here, faculty will challenge, push you, and encourage you. And our alumni guide you no matter where your journey unfolds. We're a community that works smart and plays smart. We question assumptions and laugh at obstacles. Hits. Because we're all in this together. This is Virginia University. This is home.
All right. So West Virginia University It's actually an institution classified as R1. R1 is the highest classification that any university in the United States may be classified of. As far as research, R1 means basically that the level of research that we do at West Virginia University, both within STEM and non-STEM fields, is quite impactful, not just for the academic field, but also just general life. Many of the findings that we do through the various programs that we have may in turn be provided to federal agencies, etc., for ongoing real-life studies. So it's, again, the level of impact and relevance of this is quite important, and therefore the classification of R1 that we have. Just to give you an idea of other institutions that are also part of this R1 classification, MIT, Johns Hopkins, and Stanford, just to give you an idea of where WVU stands as it relates to categories like this one. And just to give you a couple of examples of what this R1 really means, we're constantly making headlines, and here are a couple of examples of the type of research that we do. For example, our neuroscience program recently discovered some methods to reverse some symptoms from Alzheimer's. Our civil engineering program made recent discoveries with emissions numbers from vehicles coming from the manufacturer Volkswagen. Numbers that Volkswagen would have provided to the federal government when they decided to import vehicles into the United States. And this was a discovery. Right part of the slide, you can see the president of the university, Dr. Gordon Gee. He's often interviewed at places like CNN, NBC, etc., just to get his opinion on various areas, again, since WVU is a point of reference when it comes to research. Now, and therefore, we have highly competitive teams. The level of competitiveness is Olympic. And if anyone may be interested in trying to apply as a student athlete, they may do so. And there may even be options for scholarships and additional incentives through this pathway. Again, applying as a student athlete. This, however, is, again, highly competitive. The athletes that we have are of Olympic level, but again, anyone interested that may feel that they have the talent for it, of course, are more than welcome to apply. When it comes to majors, WVU offers 130 different undergraduate majors for a total of 380, which include master's and PhD ones. I will make note that we also have law programs, med school, and undecided. And the reason why I highlight this at the bottom is law school and med school in the United States require an undergraduate degree before applying to either of these ones. So before law school or med school would even consider you for either of those ones, and this is not just WVU, this is the entire system in the United States, any university for that matter, then you would need a college degree before applying to these programs. So you cannot graduate from high school and then apply to med school or law school directly, as it would be the case in most countries outside the United States. You would need a college degree before. The recommendation for law school would be, my recommendation would be to opt for majors such as political science, sociology, or philosophy, and for med school to study biology or chemistry, or do a double major of biochem. And we also accept the students that are undecided, meaning you don't have to know exactly what you want to study. You can apply to the university and you can be admitted, you can get scholarships, etc. And you would just be taking general elective classes on your first year until you decide what is it exactly that you would like to study. And on the second year, you can let us know what you would like to do. And the process is very simple and internal. There is no penalty for coming as undecided. At WVU, we like to say that we work smart and we play smart. And what we mean by this is, yes, we realize that what you do outside the classroom is very, very important, but so is whatever you do outside of this one. If you think about it, whenever you go to a college or the university, you're not just spending time inside the classroom, but the majority of the time actually that you'll be spending will be just as part of the community on campus at large. So for that matter, it's very important for institutions like West Virginia University classroom. One of these great resources that we have is our student organizations. WVU offers over 500 different options when it comes to student orgs. This becomes a great way for our students, particularly our first-year students, to connect with other friends with similar areas of interest. We have some organizations that are more geared towards community service, some others that have something related to specific major, like a robotics club or a Wall Street Journal club. We have a club of Latin American students, of international students, of students that like to dance salsa, for example, Malaysian students, Japanese Student Association, Muslim Student Organization. Again, quite a variety of these ones, 500 different options available. Now, two additional resources that we have are study abroad. WVU offers over 51 different options for our students to go somewhere else while they are here in Morgantown in West Virginia. For example, I'm alumni from WVU, and when I was going to college here, I was able to spend some time in France through a short program, part of my political science major. So again, just like that, we have 51 different options through which students may go somewhere else and spend some time in a different country, at a different institution for a couple of weeks. It could be a summer, it could be a semester, and then come back, and we will be able to consider the time that the student spent elsewhere instead of some classes that the student would have taken here. So by opting for study abroad, by no means you would be delaying your graduation date. But the most critical resource that we offer at WVU is Career Fair. Twice a year, we invite 300 potential employers to our campus with the idea of bringing real vacancies for either internships or actual job offers here to the campus. You may be able to reach out to all of these ones, connect, submit maybe your resume, your curriculum, and be considered for either an internship or a job post-graduation, of course. So this becomes a great vehicle for our international students, particularly those who are aiming to hopefully stay after graduating and try to secure employment here within the United States. When it comes to housing, all first-year students are required to reside in one of our residence halls. That being said, we have 12 different options available to you, and they go from full apartments to a room that you would be sharing with another roommate, which is the most conventional concept of what housing would look like here in the United States. You can see a picture here of one room that is split by this half wall. So you do have some degree of privacy, even though you are sharing the room. But again, we also have apartments in which you may have your own bedroom. The cost of course will change. A single room versus an apartment will change dramatically, of course. Now, when it comes to the cost of education, perhaps the most critical part of this whole presentation, roughly the cost of education here at West Virginia University is of $41,000 a year. This is the total, again, the absolute total for 1 year, which includes housing, your meal plan, your insurance, your books, and so on. For 1 year, therefore, would be of roughly $41,000. To offset these costs, we do offer scholarships available to you. The first type of scholarship that you might be eligible for is the institutional ones, which may go up to $16,000 for those who opt for taking the SAT. If you may not know the question on the $12,000 based on your merits, meaning your grades from high school or from a university if you were to be transferring from one. On top of that, each program or each department might be able to give you an additional $4,000 roughly. For example, let's say you are interested in mechanical engineering. Engineering college might be able to give you $12,000. Outstanding grades, and they stack up. So by now you would have roughly $16,000 in scholarships, and you may also apply for our Office of Global Affairs scholarships, which is a scholarship designed for international students only, which may go up to $8,000 a year, which again may be added to the previous $12,000 and $4,000 that you already got, provided that you do have the merits for these ones. Optionally, you may also apply for our scholarship through our program, You Are Welcome Here, which is roughly $15,000 a year. They, again, stack up with the other scholarships that I just mentioned. All of those added, when you do the math, you realize that just through scholarships, you might be able to offset more than 50% of the cost of education. So less than 22,000 is what you would end up paying if you were to qualify for all these scholarships, and that would be including housing, books, insurance, again, as I mentioned. So it's from all the universities of the magnitude of West Virginia University, this perhaps becomes your most affordable option. And in addition of that, once you are here as a student, we might be able to provide you employment. You can work at the cafeteria, at the computer lab, at the biology lab, chemistry lab, or the gym. And we might be able to pay you $10 to $14. All international students are eligible for employment as long as the job is on campus. And you can work up to 20 hours a week. That is the only condition. There's that limit of 20 hours per week. You get paid every 15 days from this for your work. And whatever you do with the money is up to you. It doesn't have. And it is up to you what you do with this one ultimately. And whatever the balance might be after scholarships, etc., you can always coordinate a payment plan with us. So you can end up paying either monthly or every 2 months, whatever may be easier. Or in addition of that, for anyone applying from Latin American countries that are part of the Organization of American States, you may be considered for a ROE fund through the Organization of American States website. It's basically a loan that accumulates 0 interest, and you don't have to pay back the $15,000 to the OAS until you graduate. At least that's my understanding. You can contact the OAS or your local government officials to get more information about this one. And lastly, opportunity funds from Education USA, which cover or may cover some of expenses associated with the actual traveling of the student, let's say airfare or transportation, etc. All these logistics will be covered through these opportunity funds from Education USA, and you can contact them in your local city or country, as Education USA representatives are pretty much everywhere in the world. Now, the application process for WVU is quite simple. We have our own application, which takes about 20 minutes to get it completed. It's a form, it's online, very simple. But we also accept the Common App. The Common App, however, asks for a lot of information that we don't require, like an essay, for example, or recommendation letters, that even if you send to us, we might not be able to review because it's just not required by the university. For that reason, the recommendation is to opt for completing the WVU application. Again, it's shorter, it's simple, and anyone interested can always contact me, and I might be able to even give you a code so that you don't have to pay for the application. The application otherwise has a cost of, I believe, $65, but if you connect with me, I can give you a code so that you don't have to pay for the application. So it's shorter, it's for free to use, so you have nothing to lose, at least to apply. Your high school or your university, and it would take us about 2 weeks to review everything and give you a decision. So it's very fast, actually. In 2 weeks, you would know whether or not you've been admitted. And after that, we can move on to other steps associated with your process to come here. And the first one would be the immigration process. We have an office that would help you with all the immigration steps, and we will coach you through the entire process. It can be an overwhelming process. However, we will guide you through it, and you just have to follow step by step what we advise you. When it comes to graduate students, for anyone interested or that might be in the call today, the application for graduate students is actually a little bit similar, but also different in some ways. The admission is up to the program directly, not up to the university at the first instance, like would have been for undergraduate students. So let's say you're applying for a master's in mechanical engineering. It is the mechanical engineering program that has to admit you. And then through it, you can see if they may have either teaching assistantships or research assistantships. Basically, as for a master's or PhD program, would be coming here in an ideal situation. They would not be paying anything at all for their education. So in a way, it's free. And matter of fact, we would be paying you to study here. And in exchange, you would be teaching basic classes here, entry-level classes for like freshman students, or doing research for us. As I mentioned earlier, we are an R1 institution, so research is a constant activity and is present in most of our programs. So this is why we need researchers. So we will be paying you for that, in addition, of course, of waiving the cost of your education here at WVU. So it becomes an easier vehicle financially to consider WVU for grad school. And just some other basic information about the university. We are located on the eastern part of the United States. It's this red dot. It's roughly about 3 hours from Washington, D.C., 6 hours to New York City, and 1 hour from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In our campus, we have 30,000 students here in Morgantown. We'll have two smaller campuses, each with less than 2,000, but those ones only offer 2-year programs, not full 4-year programs, which is what you would be interested in. We like to say that we are a big school with a small school feel. And what we mean by that is, as I mentioned earlier, we have 30,000 students here in our campus. And sometimes that can be overwhelming to some of our students. What I ask my students, however, is to focus on their program only. For example, mechanical engineering students are part of engineering school, which is part of West Virginia University. But if you focus on your program only, you realize that as a WVU student, you're actually a member of a much smaller component of the university, which is key to understand the ratio of 18 students per 1 faculty. Now, campus, as you were able to see in the video, covers the entire city of Morgantown. Everything that you see pretty much here belongs to the university. We have our own tiny metro system, for example, to connect all students. We have 3 different areas of campus. The stadium belongs to the university. The hospitals belong to the university. The movie theater belongs to the university. Agriculture, engineering, business and economics, you name it, it's all over the city. Now, when it comes to your timeline, anyone interested in applying to start classes next year, either spring semester, which starts in January, or August 2023, you can already submit your application. We started taking applications as of August of this year, and you're welcome to send one whenever you might be ready. You can always email me also, and we can complete the application together online if you would like. It takes, again, about 20 minutes to get it completed, maybe less than that. And I can give you a code at the end so that you don't have to pay for this one. And in 2 weeks, we can let you know if you've been admitted. And at that point, we can see what the conversion is of your grades and see what scholarships we can start putting together for you. So very important to apply as soon as possible if you are considering coming to the United States for college or to WVU next year. For those interested in coming 2024, you can start the application process as of August 2023. So a year in advance is when you would start the process. After you've been admitted, of course, as I mentioned earlier, you will have to go through the immigration process, but we will walk you through this one. Then we connect you with a professor that will help you choose your classes for the first semester. And you will complete new student orientation, which is online, and then you would be ready and good to go. And we would just be expecting you a couple of days before the starting of classes so that you can get situated in the housing of your preference, etc. Again, this is the slide with QR code for if you would like to give me your information, name, last name, date of birth, and program of interest is all I need. I'm not too concerned about your address or your phone number. I would not be able to call you internationally anyways. You can email me. My email is here, and we can always schedule a Zoom meeting so that I can help you complete the application. I also have WhatsApp available, but you can email me to request my WhatsApp contact information, and we can also do a video call there as well. I speak Spanish and Portuguese, so if anyone on the call might be interested in having a conversation in those languages, more than welcome to do so. Feel free to send me an email, and I can coordinate these meetings. That is it. That is the presentation. That is West Virginia University at this point. Our questions.
All right. Thank you very much, Gary. I know I wanted to hear a little bit about a couple of programs. Some people had asked me about the forensics program in particular. I know we talked about it a little bit when I was on campus, so I thought it might be nice to share a bit more about that program as well. And for everyone here, feel free to use the chat to leave your questions, or you can raise hand as well, and we'll get you on the microphone.
Yes, great question. Thank you, Andrew. So forensics and criminology are basically our top programs here. It's to the point that we actually, on both fields, we are in rankings worldwide. Those programs are at the very top, and that includes big universities here in the United States. So for anyone interested in those programs, everything that I just said is applicable: scholarships, the application process, me helping you with it, etc. And you would be applying, or you would be admitted into what it is the best program or the best two programs in the entire world when it comes to forensics and criminology. It goes all the way to the point that the FBI actually has several partnerships with us. There's a biometric center here nearby from the FBI, and we work together. They come also to our career fair twice a year with employment opportunities for anyone interested in working with the FBI. And opportunities like that are pretty unique, I believe, from US institutions compared to universities in other parts of the world. So scholarships, let me go back to that slide. Sophia is asking for scholarships. So here it is, Sophia. On the left part, you can see the cost, which is roughly $41,000. And this is the total of everything. And this would be the scholarship opportunities that you have. Some of these, or the majority of these, may be able to be combined. So they are not exclusive. You can get the $16,000 scholarship plus the $4,000 scholarship plus the $8,000 scholarship, for example, which again might end up minimizing the cost to almost maybe just having to pay housing, which is this $11,000 here per year. So very promising opportunities for you. These are all merit-based. So provided that you have good grades, we are more than willing to accommodate and arrange these ones so that your attendance can be much more affordable.
With regards to the amounts that are there for the SAT, I see that you have more for the SAT. Is there kind of a general expected score, or maybe a number that they would want to shoot for to be considered for those additional amounts with the SAT?
Yes, let me see if I can open that file that explains that a little better. Okay, so this is how we distribute the scholarships. The first stage scholarships, the ones that make mention to the SAT. If you look at this chart, it goes up to $16,000 for international students, but this is on the gold section here in this corner. That would mean that you would need a GPA of 4.0, which is equivalent to 100% of the grade anywhere. If is 1 to 100, for example, you would need a 100 or similar, or the closest score to 100. And in combination with a good SAT score of anything above 1390 is what would give you that shot at being able to have that $16,000 scholarship. But again, that's not the only scholarship. As you can see, there are others that are available depending on what your grades are in 80 to be eligible for this one. Now, for anyone interested in coming without the SAT, the scholarships go up to $12,000, as I mentioned, but then you would need a good GPA, 4.2 and above. Then there are other ones for GPAs lower than that, but nothing lower than 3.0. So that would be the minimum that if you have anything above 3.0, then yes, you will likely get some sort of scholarship. Any other questions?
I like the transparency there. I also, maybe, I know you mentioned where Morgantown is on the map and some of the surrounding cities, but maybe there are some things you'd like to share, I think, about Morgantown as an international person yourself, having been there now. Maybe to hear a little bit more about the location, because I think it's something that also is, it's a less known area for a lot of our students, so might be nice to hear a little bit more about that area as well.
Yes, so West Virginia University is actually located, it's in the area of what we call the Appalachians. So we're surrounded by some beautiful mountains. There's a lot of opportunities to do various things here. Campus itself is huge. So there's a lot of activities to do just in campus. But if you want to navigate or explore a little bit outside of this one, there's so many opportunities through the university to do things such as kayaking, paddleboarding, or rock climbing, skiing, whitewater rafting. Again, a variety of options available to you because we are surrounded by so much nature. And these are programs that are organized by the university, so we are responsible for it, and we provide you all the necessary gear for it. Let me see if I can find some pictures to exemplify that. This is the metro system that I was referring to earlier, which I believe, Andrew, you were able to utilize last time you were here. This is the PRT. The weather changes through the year. Right now we are walking into winter, so we'll probably get a couple of days of snow between now and February. Spring semester is nice. Summer, of course, with the activities that I was mentioning, the university provides all these resources so you can engage in outdoor activities. Winter now, of course, so we have skiing available, ski trips available to our students that have never experienced or been able to do skiing, for example. This becomes very appealing to international students. And this is just a map of the metro system that we have. This one that connects all areas of the city of Morgantown, all three campuses in that. But if you don't want to be outside, we also have a recreation center, a massive recreation center with an Olympic swimming pool. We have an indoor wall for anyone interested in climbing. We have competitive teams that students tend to go and watch on weekends because, again, they are highly competitive, first division, so it's always quite entertaining to go and see them compete. Right now, our team of women's soccer, for example, we just beat Virginia Tech, and we have advanced onto the next round of the NCAA tournament. This is a picture of our football stadium with a capacity of over 60,000 fans, and this is what we do normally on Saturdays. Football season is ongoing right now, so this is what we do typically. This is free to all students, by the way. You don't ever pay for a ticket while you are a student of WVU, so it's quite nice to be able to have access to it. It's just the stories of some international students that have come through our doors, and I'll be more than happy to share this file with anyone interested. If you send me an email and you request this one, for example, Juan Mariño, he's the president of the Latin American students here. He's a student of engineering. He comes from Guayaquil, Ecuador. Like that, we have students from Venezuela, from India, from China, etc. So there is an international student presence here, and professors, etc., that you can connect and ultimately become your support system once you are here. But yeah, so as it relates to outdoor activities, we do have all the gear and all the necessary programs to provide those for anyone interested. Does the IB help you in something? Yes, absolutely. If you are graduating from a full with a full IB diploma, you do not have to take any English tests because we would take the IB instead of that. That is only, however, if you are graduating with a full IB diploma. The other benefit of the IB diploma is that once you send your transcripts, we can see which classes we might be able to transfer here, and we can give you credit for it. So you would be arriving to Morgantown with some credits already in your favor, which gets you closer to your graduation date. Because you don't only have to take certain classes required to graduate, but you also have to meet a certain number of classes, certain number of credits. So if we're able to transfer some credits from your IB program, then that gets you closer to that graduation date, of course. So that's like another great benefit.
We have a lot of IB candidates down here in Peru. It's grown very fast, so I think a lot of people would definitely take advantage of that opportunity. Are there any minimum grade requirements for that, or do they just have to complete the diploma?
Just the diploma. It has to be a full diploma, and then of course we would look into the grades, but just like anybody else, just for the sake of scholarship distribution, and that's it. The IB diploma itself is great though, because again, you don't have to take then the SAT or TOEFL or Duolingo or any of these tests, because the IB diploma in itself is proof that you have English proficiency. Again, my contact information is here. If anyone would like to schedule a Zoom appointment with me, I can help you complete the application and give you a code so that you don't have to pay for the application, my email address is here, or you can scan this QR code and just give me your information too.
On the university, I also published a video after making one with you, Gary. I published another one too with some of the student interviews that we got, and one of the international students you mentioned who you introduced me to was there, and she was the one that was doing the master's program, and like you said, basically essentially getting paid to be there, right, by teaching as well. So it was really nice to get to talk to some people on campus, and I think it's a great way to get to know the different kinds of majors. Also wanted to hear a little bit maybe more about the engineering majors as well. I saw obviously it has its own section of campus there, and I think there's a lot of interest in that on our end as well. So it might be good to share a little bit more about that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Engineering is our top school. We have 14 different schools here that make part of West Virginia University. But within engineering, you can find fields such as data science, computer analytics, computer engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, aerospace engineering with a partnership with NASA. What else do we have? I already mentioned electrical, mining engineering, which is huge because mining is the engine of the state of West Virginia. So we have a lot of students from Colombia, for example, or China, or south of Brazil, where mining or petroleum are huge. They typically come to study here because we have the expertise and all the technology to grow professionally here. And on that note, I will share one website just to show you guys how to navigate or learn more about our programs. If you go to wvu.edu, you will see at the very top, the very first option that you get here, the very first option, academics, undergraduate major. You can type any word here of any major that you would like. Let's say civil engineering, for example. Let's put search, and you will see all the different options that we have that are not only specifically civil engineering, but some fields that are associated or close to it too, in case you might be interested in considering other options. So civil engineering bachelor's program, that means it's a 4-year program here, and the campus is Morgantown, which is our Morgantown campus. So when you click on it, what I like about these pages is that it offers you an overview of the classes that you're going to take, the different specialties within that major that you may be able to opt at some point, the degree that your diploma ultimately will display, but also some study abroad options. Let's say the program has some study abroad agreements to go to a different country at some point. You can explore them here. Some classes that you're likely to take here, you can check them out. Some ranking numbers. But this part is to me very, very valuable. Possible careers. It provides you an idea of what the job market offers you right now if you were to be graduating indeed from that major. So you can become a civil engineering with an expected market salary of $83,000 if you graduate from our university. Construction managers, $89,000. So you can really put into perspective, is this the major that I want to invest the next 4 years of my time and money with projections or considerations after graduating, right? Ultimately, you don't want to end up with a degree that is going to just be collecting dust on your wall. This is why we're doing this. We want to make sure that our students are cognizant of what the job market has to offer to them, or at least for those students. This is based on the students that graduate from West Virginia University. So it's very objective. It's very much related to what you're about to do. So a great resource, again, to put everything into perspective to understand whether or not that's what you want to do. And again, some sample classes of what you would be taking as part of civil engineering, for example, structural analysis, construction, etc. And you can see this for every major that we offer, 130 different majors. Cost breakdown, where there were to be any special requirements to be admitted. For example, civil engineering requires that you have a GPA of 3.5 to be directly admitted. If you have a GPA less than that, you can be admitted indirectly, meaning you are admitted to the university, but you would have to take some additional classes on the first year to level up and then be admitted into the engineering program. But you can start taking general elective classes required for all students meanwhile. So again, great resource located at wvu.edu search engine. Any other questions? If there are no any further questions, Andrew, that's all I had for you guys. There is my contact information again. Highly recommend that anyone interested in considering college for 2023, contact me as soon as possible so that I can walk you. We can complete the application together online. That will give you reassurances that you're not going to miss anything. And again, 15-20 minutes of your time for free. We're not going to charge you for the application. So you got absolutely nothing to lose. And in 2 weeks, we can start talking on concrete details of like whether or not you've been admitted and what the projection is for the scholarships for you.
All right. Thank you so much, Gary. And I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to us. Honestly, I really enjoyed my visit at West Virginia University. Was very impressed by the facilities and also just the friendliness of everybody on campus. And I think it's a very beautiful environment also to be in. So I would definitely encourage people to check it out if you have the opportunity, and especially, you know, considering what the offers are for international students here, it's a really great option to consider. So yeah, definitely get in touch with Gary if you have more questions, or you can talk to us too and we can reach out with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Andrew.
All right. Thank you so much, Gary. Take care. We'll be in touch.
Bye.
Bye. All right. And with that, we have our next presentation going to come on here in just a little bit. We have Purdue University at 7 p.m. So again, you're welcome to stick around here and wait for it, or we'll be back here at 7 in the same link.
to meet you. Awesome. Very good. So we're on a little break right now, right? Nope, I'll share my screen in just a few minutes when we're ready to get started, and that should be good to go. And otherwise, it'll probably be like about a half hour, 35-minute presentation, and then time for questions if there are any, or if we're taking any questions, and then maybe we'll break before your next session. Okay. Do you moderate the questions? Okay. Got it. Right. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
righty. I think this is a good time to get started. Looks like it's 7. So, yeah. Next up, we have Purdue University. We've got Danik Torrey here. He's going to tell us a little bit more about Purdue. I had the chance to go and visit Purdue earlier this year and got to meet Danik as well. We had a really nice time. I really enjoyed my visit on campus. Such a big campus, man. I couldn't even see it all. I spent about 6-7 hours there that day. It still felt like I needed to come back for another day. So hopefully I can sometime. I would love nothing more. But yeah, Danik's going to tell you guys all about Purdue, and yeah, the floor is yours.
All right, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having us and for organizing this event this week. I know you have a variety of different schools coming this entire week, and we're excited that we can be a part of it. And certainly, Andrew, we welcome you back to Purdue anytime. We would love to have you back and show you around campus. So let us know when you're able to come, and we'll certainly be able to accommodate a visit. Just give me a second here and I'll get my screen shared for the presentation. All right, there we go. So as Andrew said, my name is Danik Torrey and I'm the representative from Purdue University. Thank you so much for having us. This next slide, I'm actually going to introduce a brief video about Purdue University. So it's about a minute long to give you a good overview, to get an idea what Purdue looks like and an idea of what it's like at Purdue as well.
When we talk about our best moments, they include humanity's first steps on the moon, alongside stories about the steps we're taking right now. At one of our country's greatest institutions, Purdue University. A family of students and professors who are in this together, persistently pursuing, relentlessly rethinking. The next game changers, difference makers, ceiling breakers, innovators, Boilermakers.
So when I see the smile run across your face and the sunrise lights up another day, I believe.
And we will never stop. We keep going because discovery is in our DNA. Our greatest adventures are yet to come, and they include you and everything we will experience together when you take your next giant leap.
All right, well, I hope that video gets you excited about considering and learning a little bit more about Purdue University. A few things about that video. One thing is it mentions about being a Boilermaker, and that word may be a word you've never heard of before, but the word a Boilermaker is the nickname of a Purdue student. So back when the university was founded, many of our students were engineers, they were inventors, they worked on engines, and that's what a Boilermaker, that's what the word meant back in that time. So our students got the nickname the Boilermakers. Of course, now our students study many things beyond engineering, but we still do have a reputation of being a STEM-oriented school and of course have amazing engineering programs. The other thing it mentioned in the video, I believe, is about going to the moon, and that's in reference to Neil Armstrong. So you may think back to your history classes. Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, was a Purdue alum. So that's something that's really built into the culture of Purdue. And we're talking about taking your next giant leap and considering Purdue, that's something that is in reference to Neil Armstrong as well. In fact, one of the buildings you see on your screen is our Neil Armstrong Hall of Engineering. And there's actually a statue in tribute to Neil Armstrong behind the tree there. This is a picture of our academic portion of campus. Of course, as Andrew said in the beginning, campus is very large. We are a large university. So I would say we're large, but although we're large, our campus is fairly compact. So it's fairly easy to get from one side to the other, I would say walking within 20 to 25 minutes. And that otherwise on the screen there, you see some pictures of our classroom space. We're located in the Midwest of the United States, approximately 2 hours south of the city of Chicago and 1 hour north of the city of Indianapolis. So where that P icon is there on the map, that's our approximate location. And we're very much a college town or a small college city. So what that means is really everything in the local area and in West Lafayette, Indiana, kind of revolves around campus and revolves around the entire university. Some things that could go along with that is that sense of community feel that you get when you're on campus. You see some pictures there of our festivals that happen throughout the year, especially in the fall and the spring when the weather is more permissible of having the festivals outside. That's a picture of our Starry Night Festival, which celebrates culture, music, and the arts. There's also a farmers market that takes place every Thursday on campus as weather permits, of course, concerts and other things that happen all throughout the year. It's fairly easy to get to our campus from Chicago or Indianapolis. There's actually bus shuttles or shuttle companies or shuttle vans that have set schedules where they go to either the O'Hare Airport in Chicago or the Indianapolis International Airport. So basically, if you need to get to the airport, you book that shuttle ticket, and it's about $60 one way to Chicago and about $25 one way to Indianapolis, and we will get you to the airport. Or when you're coming to visit Purdue, you can book a shuttle to come directly to our campus. Purdue does have its own private airport. There's currently no commercial flights going in or out of the airport. So if you're interested in learning how to fly or become a private or commercial pilot, we have that's one of our majors we actually offer, or we can also offer private flight classes to students who are not studying. That, of course, you would have to pay the additional tuition or fees or flight instructors for that. West Lafayette, Indiana is also one of the safest college towns in the U.S. So that's something that we like to, given our location, we tend to be in a very safe location. As I mentioned, that we're a large university, so we currently have, actually these numbers are a little outdated. A few weeks earlier this fall, in the month of September, we did a census, and we're currently actually over 50,000 students at Purdue University. So we've grown. So that total enrollment actually is about 50,000 students, and the total undergraduate enrollment is about 37,000 students. We are a public university, so what that means is we are funded, and our primary purpose is to educate the residents of the state of Indiana. So we have just about half of our students come from the state of Indiana. The other half of our students represent all 50 U.S. states, as well as right around 128 other countries. As I mentioned, we very much consider ourselves an international university, since we have over about 130 countries represented on campus. We're actually in the top 5 of enrollment for international students in the United States. So what that means for you as an international student looking to come to Purdue is that you're going to be very well supported. You're going to be able to have a community of people from your city, your region, or your citizenship, and you will find that community here. Actually, in fact, I was just looking right before the session of how many Peruvian students we have at Purdue, and I was actually very surprised that we have a very strong community of Peruvian students on campus. I believe the number was about 65 Peruvian citizens currently studying at Purdue. That includes both graduate and undergraduate students, but I would say majority of those students are actually undergraduate students. All right. Well, when you're looking to go to college or university, that's going to be your home potentially for the next 4 years. So I want to start this presentation, I think, talking about what it would be like to live at Purdue as a student, and then we'll get later in the presentation, get into some of the academics and then the application process at the very end. If you have any questions, you feel free to put them in the chat or write them down and save them so we can answer those at the end. So when I'm talking about, I said it will be your home for the next 4 years. I would say majority of our students do live on campus. We're very much a residential campus at Purdue. Over 95% of first year beginner freshman students, they actually live on campus. And we always encourage students to live on campus as well. You're technically at Purdue not required to live on campus, but we do strongly encourage it, especially that first couple years. We do offer housing all 4 years. So if you do want to live on campus all 4 years, that's completely fine, and many students do that. Otherwise, there is plenty of off-campus housing too that's fairly close to campus. We do offer learning communities, so that's a very popular option for students, especially their first year, to apply to be part of a learning community. And, you know, Purdue is a large university. When you see that we have over 50,000 students, that may seem very overwhelming. In our incoming beginner or freshman class, we usually have about 8,000 to 9,000 students. So we want to make sure that you find that community during your time here at Purdue. So within our learning communities, you'll actually be living with students and taking a few classes with the same group of students. And it's usually around your major. So example of a learning community would maybe be the Women in STEM or Women in Engineering learning community, the Data Mine learning community for all students who are interested in data and big data and maybe computer science, or the entrepreneurship community. So there's a list of about 75 or more now learning communities that you can choose to apply to if you are admitted and choose to come to Purdue. And that helps you find a learning community to be a part of if you would like to. It's not required to be a part of a learning community. The other thing we have at Purdue is award-winning dining. Of course, it's going to be a part of your campus and college experience. You're going to be eating in the dining hall. Of course, you're going to be, everything's going to be right there. So we have 6 dining courts on campus. Dining courts are going to be those typical, traditional, what you would think of a U.S. dining court. So all you can eat, buffet style, different types of cuisine, all from all over the world you'll find in our dining courts, especially with the variety of students that we have on campus. We also have on-the-go options. So if you just need to grab a quick meal in between classes or something to take back to your residence hall or your room, or we do offer those type of options as well. Another big part of being a college student is getting involved outside of the classroom. So that's something that at Purdue, there's countless opportunities to do. So with a big institution or large institution comes a lot of opportunities as well to get involved outside of the classroom. So again, a lot of this is about finding your community once you're there on campus. So at Purdue, we have close to 1,000 clubs and organizations. So these could be things like sports, cultural clubs. It could be hobbies that you have. Could be more academic focused clubs. So think of those things that you do outside the classroom already, or that you're involved with at your school and your community, and think how you might be involved with that on a college campus as well, because that's a really important part as you're looking at different colleges and universities. We've mentioned a lot here that we want to build community, and another way we do that at Purdue is through our cultural centers. So our cultural centers are actually physical locations on our campus, and they are there to build awareness to the cultures, but also provide a physical space for students to go for educational purposes, or to study, or to have events and things like that. So our 5 cultural centers that we currently have on our campus are the Asian American Cultural Center, our Black Cultural Center, the Latino Cultural Center, the Native American Cultural Center, and the LGBTQ Cultural Centers. I already mentioned this, but we have about 1,000 clubs and organizations. So again, those things that you like to do outside of the classroom, that's how you're going to get involved on our college campus. So you'll likely be able to find anything that you would like to be involved with. So again, music, dance, academic things, volunteering, those are all great things that you're going to have no problem finding at Purdue. We also have our recreational center. We want our students to stay active. So in our recreation center, we have, I believe there's Olympic-sized swimming pools, rock climbing walls, ping pong tables, indoor soccer. The list goes on, and it's definitely a way for our students to stay active, especially in the winter months at Purdue. It does get cold, so we know with our location, our average temperatures, I would say in the summer, are going to be between 25 to 30 Celsius, and in the winter, of course, right around a 0 Celsius average temperature. So again, you get that full spectrum at Purdue and everything in between when it comes to weather. But the recreational center that you see there, that is something that you will have access to as a student. As part of being a student at Purdue, you'll have access to use that facilities for free, and it's centrally located close to our residence halls. Can also be involved with club and intramural sports. So if you are into athletics, and I see your question, Sebastian, about scholarships, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But if you want to be involved with clubs or intramural sports, it's certainly you can be involved with. Club sports are a way for you to be for you to play competitively against other colleges and universities, but maybe not at the NCAA division level. So you still may need to try out for the team. You'll still have practice, and you'll definitely go to tournaments and travel and play other college or universities. There's typically not any scholarships associated with club sports. And then intramurals are going to be sports of playing against your classmates on our campus. Some of them may be competitive and others may be just for fun. Another thing at Purdue is, well, actually, I'm going to address Sebastian's question right now about soccer. We don't offer a men's Division I team. We only offer men's soccer at the club level. We do have a women's Division I team. So being a Big Ten member, that is going to be the highest level of athletics in the United States. So we're NCAA Division I. We're part of the Big Ten Conference. And you can see some of the exciting sport events that you have the opportunity to attend and be a part of. And you get that big school spirit as being a part of Purdue student as well. Our basketball arena and our football field is right next to campus, so students can easily get there. And we do have tickets especially for students to be able to attend those exciting games. I'm going to go into academics now. So so far in this presentation, I've really talked about, what it might be like to be a student outside of academics. I'm going to transition now to talking a little bit about some of the academic opportunities that we offer at Purdue. One of those is going to be research. Purdue is a research-oriented university. So what that means is research is huge at Purdue. Companies come to Purdue and pay us to do research for them. All of our professors are involved with research in their industry or within their field or area of study. And even as an undergraduate student, if you want to be involved with research, that's something you can certainly be involved with as well, whether that's doing your own research, working with professors, or it might be part of your classes as well. So we do have about 400 laboratory spaces that we allow students to use. And then we have nearly 2,000 undergraduate research projects that take place each year. So if that sounds something that might be interesting to you, definitely Purdue is a great option if you're interested in research. The other thing we offer that may be a little bit unique is we have a certificate in entrepreneurship and innovation. So at Purdue, entrepreneurship, the study of business or being a business owner, we don't offer a major. Of course, we have a business major, but we don't offer a major in entrepreneurship. So at Purdue, our perspective is that all students can be an entrepreneur, right? If you have the right skills and the right classes and right support, anybody can be an entrepreneur of any major that you're studying at Purdue. That's why we allow the certificate program for all students, regardless of their major. So you could be coming to Purdue and studying engineering, and you could also take the certificate in entrepreneurship. You could be studying agriculture and do this certificate in entrepreneurship. So it's a great bonus that you would be able to do while you're at Purdue. It typically involves about 5 classes. A lot of times those classes are related to your major anyway. And upon graduation, along with that bachelor's degree, you'll receive the certificate of entrepreneurship and innovation as well. We also have an honors college. Our honors college is for those of you who are very academic-orally oriented and you have a variety of areas of interest as well. So those students who, they know if they want to study, but they're also interested in a variety of things and a lot of interdisciplinary or more in-depth topics or learning. Our honors college would be a good fit for you. So our honors college is a great opportunity for you to live a part of the honors community at Purdue. It is competitive. We typically receive about 8,000 applications for the honors college, and we usually have less than 1,000 spaces available. So it's a competitive, and then you will apply directly to our honors college. Our honors college deadline was actually November 1st. So if you're a senior and you didn't apply yet for the honors college, unfortunately, if you do come to Purdue, you may have the opportunity to join the honors college once you're there. Otherwise, those of you who will be applying in the future, November 1st every year is the deadline to apply to Purdue for early action as well as our honors college. And I'll talk a little bit more about deadlines in a few more slides. And then degree in three is a partner, or degree in three is many of our programs have a 3-year plan of study. So all of our programs at Purdue they're designed to be completed in 4 years, a 4-year bachelor's degree. But there are some that can be completed in 3 years if you take classes as a year-round student. So there's actually a plan of study in place to do that. So that allows students to sometimes save a little bit of money because they're getting their degree in a shorter amount of time, and allows you to get a job, get on the job market, a little bit sooner as well. Degree Plus is a partnership that we have with our College of Liberal Arts. So we find that students at Purdue that are majoring in other colleges also have interest in the liberal arts, so they can actually get a second degree in their College of Liberal Arts. So it allows students. Purdue is fairly flexible. Many of our students actually have 2 majors, sometimes even 3. So our students tend to be, I would say, fairly diverse in areas of study that they're looking at. All right, transition here a little bit into our admissions details. At Purdue, we have 11 academic colleges and schools, and we offer over 200 majors. So at Purdue, when you apply to us, you're actually going to be applying directly to a specific major. So in this presentation, I actually don't have a list of, I've just put in the chat a list of all of the majors that you can study at Purdue. So all of those who are watching us live right now, feel free to click that link that I just put there in the chat and look at that and review that even while I'm talking, because then you can see a list of all of the majors that you can study at Purdue. There's over 200 of them. It's a very comprehensive list. And there's many things that you can study at Purdue. So definitely take a look at that. When you apply to Purdue, you will apply directly to a major, and you can select up to 2 on the application. So you can apply to a first choice major and a second choice major. How that works is we always consider you automatically for that first choice major. If for any reason we're not able to offer admission for the first choice major, we'll then automatically consider you for the second choice major that you put on your application. There's a few exceptions to that. There are some programs at Purdue that we receive thousands of applications, and it's very competitive. So we realistically wouldn't accept a student who that was their second choice. So a good example of that would be our engineering programs. None of our engineering programs are going to be a second choice major because we receive so many applications. The other one would be computer science, nursing, as well as professional flight. Those programs you will not find on the second choice. So you can't, so for example, you can't put that you're going to be a first choice engineering, second choice computer science. You would need to choose which one you want to have your first choice. Here's all of our academic colleges and schools. So all of those majors that you're looking at on the website, they all have a college or school associated with them. So all of the majors are going to be within a college or a school. So I won't go through all of them because you're looking through the majors now and you'll be able to see the variety of programs we offer. But our College of Agriculture, certainly you don't need to be come from a farming background to be in our College of Agriculture. You're going to see a lot of interesting majors there that have to do with agriculture, but maybe things that you wouldn't traditionally think of. So things like agricultural business, the engineering side of agriculture, food science. Of course, there's those traditional agriculture majors too, things like crop science, animal sciences as well. So definitely a lot of really cool majors there in our College of Agriculture. Our School of Business is our School of Management, rather, is our School of Business that we have at Purdue. It's consistently ranked in the top 25 of business schools in the United States. So that's something we're really excited about. So the traditional business majors you're going to find there in our current School of Management, and you'll find some really interesting ones. You'll also see that we offer a variety of business majors that are not within our School of Management. So for example, in our College of Health and Human Sciences, we have retail management, financial counseling, hospitality and tourism management. So some more business related majors, but they're not within our School of Management. Education would be majors if you want to become a teacher someday. Definitely check those programs out if that's interesting to you. We offer our College of Pharmacy, which could lead into becoming a pharmacist through our PharmD program. Or if you're interested in more of the research side of pharmacy, so pharmaceutical sciences and research, you could also do a bachelor's degree in that program. Our College of Pharmacy is consistently ranked, I'd say, in the top 10 of programs in the US. Our College of Engineering, we are in the top 10 of engineering programs in the United States as well. So that's something that's we're very proud of. And many of our students do study engineering at Purdue. About 30% of our students study some form of engineering. Now, when you apply to engineering on the application, we have 17 different types of engineering. So some popular ones would be astronautical and aeronautical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil, nuclear engineering, are just a few examples. But on the application, you'll actually be applying to something called first year engineering. So when you're looking at all of those engineering options you see on the website, you don't need to decide which one you want to do now. If there's multiple that sound interesting to you, that's completely fine. If you know you want to do mechanical engineering, that's completely fine too. But on the application, you'll be applying to College of Engineering, and we consider all engineering applications the same. So regardless of which one you're interested in, that first year of the program is going to be designed to help you start thinking like an engineer. You're going to they're going to start introducing and learning engineering concepts, and also expose you to all the different types of engineering, so you can make an informed and confirm your decision of which one you want to study. Another really cool college we have at Purdue is our Polytechnic Institute. And I know the word polytechnic has different meanings around the world. So many people, when they see that, they think, oh, it's more like a technical or associate's degree, or and that's not at all what it is. So it's actually a 4-year college at Purdue. It's on our campus, and they are all 4-year bachelor degree programs. Most of them are going to be technology related. So things like engineering technology, cybersecurity, computer information technology are all examples of majors within our Polytechnic Institute, including our flight program. So our professional flight and all the aviation programs are through Polytechnic as well. Exploratory studies are for those of you who are completely undecided, or you have a variety of areas of interest that you're interested in. Exploratory studies allows you to start at Purdue as an undecided student, and then you can decide what you want to do once you're at Purdue. So when you're looking over those 200 majors you see, that's very overwhelming, right? And there could be some majors there that you don't even know what is, and it'll, or there you may have a list of 5 that interest you. Well, exploratory studies will allow you to start exploring, all those 5 or many that are interesting to you, or it'll allow you to discover things that you didn't even know existed or that you could do as a career. So it's definitely a great option, and you can apply to exploratory studies if you're completely undecided, or if you have an idea of what you want to study, but you're just not quite sure. Definitely consider our exploratory studies program. Our College of Science, of course, has the traditional science programs, so things like biology, physics, mathematics, but we also have computer science. Artificial intelligence is a new major that's actually going to be very popular within the next couple of years. So definitely, if you're interested in any of those type of things, data science, look at our College of Science. Health and Human Sciences, I mentioned earlier, has some of those human sciences, the business majors, but they also have the health sciences too. So things like speech language pathology, kinesiology, nursing are good examples of the health sciences. If you're interested in becoming a veterinarian, we do have a vet nursing program, and then we have pre-veterinary studies to prepare you for veterinary school. And then last but not least, our College of Liberal Arts, some amazing programs there. So if you're interested in the languages, the art, visual and performing arts, communications, economics, and actually even have an artificial intelligence program within our College of Liberal Arts as well that focuses on the philosophy and the ethics behind artificial intelligence. So a lot of different really unique programs there too to consider. And don't limit yourself to one. As I said, at Purdue, many of our students do have double majors or minors as well. So for example, a minor would be typically taking about 5 classes in a certain subject. So it's a concentration, you have a general understanding, but you're not, doing a full degree in that topic. So definitely that's very popular for most of our students to have a double major or a minor. All right, real quick here, I want to talk a little bit about that application process. So at Purdue, we are part of the Common Application. So I'm sure you're probably already familiar with the Common Application. Many of you may have already submitted your Common Application to universities. And those of you who are going to be applying in a few years, you'll slowly start to learn more about the Common Application and how you can utilize that to apply to multiple universities at once. Once you select that you're applying to Purdue University on the Common App, we'll ask you why you're applying to Purdue, and then also why you are applying to the majors that you chose on the application. So those don't need to be a full essay. Typically, a brief paragraph of 3 to 5 sentences is completely fine to answer those 2 questions. When you're applying, you'll also self-report your grades to us. So it's helpful to have a copy of your high school transcript or be able to access your certificates or your grades, because you will report those to us when you apply. The test scores, that's in reference to the SAT or the ACT. So the SAT or ACT, currently we are test flexible. So what that means is we do recommend and we prefer that you take the SAT or the ACT and submit those results to us as part of your application. However, it's not an application requirement. So we will still fully consider your application with or without the SAT or ACT scores on file, although they are preferred. That's for fall 2023. For fall 2024, so those of you who will be applying next year or in the future to Purdue, we are going to go back to, for international students, it's still test flexible. We do strongly encourage and recommend students to have the SAT or ACT. However, we will begin requiring it again for US citizens who are applying to Purdue University. What international students do need to have, though, are required to have, is what we call a proof of English proficiency. A proof of English proficiency is typically going to be the TOEFL, the IELTS, or the Duolingo English test. Those are the most common ones. We will accept the SAT or the ACT if you've done exceptionally well on that as well. So those are going to be things that we'll require as part of the application. The essay that you see there, that's actually the only essay we require is what's on the Common Application. So there's no additional essays with the exception of the Honors College. So if you, on the application, we'll ask you, are you interested in applying to Purdue's Honors College? If you select yes, you will then be prompted to write 2 additional essays to be considered for our Honors College. We do have a $60 application fee that you can pay as part of the Common Application. We do not issue any fee waivers. However, if you indicate on your application that you qualify or would like a fee waiver, we would then issue you a fee waiver with no documentation required. I'm going to talk quickly here about how we evaluate applications. So many of you, if you've already applied to Purdue or you'll be applying to other universities or Purdue in the future, you're thinking, now that I've submitted my application, what are they looking at? So at Purdue, we look at a holistic review, and you'll hear that term a lot, especially as you're looking at universities in the United States. And what that means is we consider everything that's a part of the application. So it's a combination of everything you submitted to us. And each university you apply to, most of them will do holistic review as well. And some things, but these things that I show on the screen are the things that are important to Purdue. So what that means is some schools may have a completely different criteria than Purdue, but the things you see on your screen are some of the things that are important to Purdue. So this is the academic criteria, and then the next slide I will go over the non-academic criteria. Minimum high school coursework. Typically, if you're doing a college preparatory track, or you're going to meet our minimum high school coursework, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. Of course, we're going to be looking at your grades, and not only your overall GPA or your overall grade point average, but also your individual grades as well. So we'll look at how you've performed in the different classes. You see relevant coursework. We want to make sure that you've taken the relevant coursework to the major that you're applying to. So remember, at Purdue, you're applying directly for a major. So when we're considering your application, if you applied to engineering, we're considering your application for engineering. So we want to make sure that you've taken, relevant classes in high school to prepare you for engineering. We're also going to be looking at your grades for that specific subject. So if you applied to engineering, we'll be looking specifically maybe at your math grades, physics, chemistry, because those are going to be the most important grades to make sure that you're academically prepared for Purdue. Strength of curriculum, we take that in consideration as well. But I always tell students, we have no preference which curriculum you're doing. So I get that question sometimes. We have no preference whether you're doing a British curriculum, the Peruvian national curriculum, an American curriculum, an IB curriculum. We have no preference. What we want is you to do well in whichever curriculum that you are a part of. But of course, we take into factor the rigor and the strength of the curriculum as well. Academic trends, I want to make sure you've done well throughout high school. So when we're looking at your application, that means grade 9 to 11 for us, or grade, and then 9 to 12 is high school. But typically you're completing your final year when we consider your application. And then the SAT or ACT, as I mentioned, it's technically not required, but they will be taken into consideration if they are submitted to us. And then of course the English proficiency scores as well. These are the non-academic things we look at in your application. So things like extracurricular activities. Those extracurricular activities, those are going to be what you list on the common application in the activity section. So things that you've been involved with throughout high school, whether that's been clubs, organizations, sports, music, but it's not only limited to your high school. So think of those things that you do, in your community, or maybe if you have family duties, or you've even had a part-time job. Those are going to be things that you can indicate in the extracurricular activities section as well. So think outside the box when it comes to that. And we don't need a long list. We don't need a 2-page list of all the things you've done, but we do want to know what you've been involved with. And a big part of that is making sure that you've been involved inside and outside of the classroom, and that you'll be a good fit for the community that we have at Purdue University, that you'll be involved on our campus. The essay, that's the same as the common application essay. We want it to be well written. It's interesting. We want to get to know you a little bit better as a student. So be creative, tell us a story. It doesn't need to be related academically to the major that you're studying. We want to get to know you outside of academics. So that's a good opportunity to do that in the essay. Of course, we're considering you directly for your Purdue College and the major that you applied to. So I've talked about that. Letters of recommendation at Purdue are not required, but they are strongly preferred. So most students will submit 1 to 2 letters of recommendation when they're applying to Purdue. We always recommend students to apply early. So what that means, I'm going to show you the deadlines on the next slide, but that means by November 1st. So I know we're already after November 1st now. So those of you who are in your final year of high school, definitely encourage you to apply as soon as possible. And then of course, your background and experience, we want to make sure that you're going to be an overall good fit for Purdue University. Deadlines at Purdue, our application opens August 1st every year, and then you have until November 1st to submit that application for early action deadline. So in the US, when you're applying to universities, you're almost applying 1 year in advance of when you actually want to enroll. So at Purdue, we have the November 1st early action deadline. That's actually our deadline also for merit scholarship consideration. Now I'm going to talk about scholarships in just a little bit. And I see we have a question that popped up about that as well. But at Purdue, our scholarships are for US citizens or permanent residents of the United States only. So unfortunately, we don't offer much for scholarships for international students. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. It's also our deadline early action. We also, is our recommended deadline for students who are applying to competitive majors. Now, competitive majors at Purdue are going to be things like computer science, engineering, professional flight, and nursing. So we do recommend applying early for those programs if possible. And it was also our deadline to apply to our honors college. For those of you who did apply by November 1st, your application's complete, and we will issue you a decision on or around January 15th. And those of you who have not applied yet, but are still interested in Purdue for fall 2023, the August intake, you do have until January 15th to apply. So make sure to get that application to us by January 15th. None of our decisions at Purdue are binding. So if you are accepted to Purdue, you have until May 1st to let us know if you want to accept that offer and enroll at Purdue. And then the FAFSA, that stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. That only applies to students who are U.S. citizens or permanent residents, and it's a financial aid application. All right, next. So how much does it cost to go to Purdue? We are very transparent and upfront about that. As I mentioned already, we don't offer any scholarships for international students. We also had that question earlier about sports scholarships. So at Purdue, we do offer sports scholarships for Division I, but you do need to be recruited by the coach or by the athletics department to be a part of those sports. So that can be very competitive. Typically, our student athletes are already in national tournaments, or they play for their city or their country, beyond maybe playing for high school or just playing for fun. So keep that in mind, that it's extremely competitive, and you do need to be recruited by the coach of that sports team to receive an athletic scholarship at Purdue University. But you can see the total cost there. We are a public university, so there's the Indiana resident tuition and rate. There's also the non-resident, which would be if you're a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident of the United States, but you reside outside of the state of Indiana, you would classify as a non-resident or an out-of-state student, is another way to put that. And then an international student, any student who would require a visa, you need a student visa to come to Purdue, then you would classify as an international student. So the total cost typically is going to be about $40,000 to $45,000 US per academic year. Again, that's a solid estimate of what the tuition and fees cost would be. You also see there that it says Purdue tuition frozen. What that means is those rates that you see on your screen are actually have been the same since year 2012. So it's actually 11 years now that Purdue's tuition has been frozen since year 2012. So that's very rare for colleges and universities in the United States. So most colleges and universities raise their tuition fees typically 1% to 3% each year. So although we don't offer scholarships, we're very transparent about the price and the cost of Purdue University. And those scholarships are at the undergraduate level. At the graduate level, there may be a little more opportunity for scholarships at Purdue. But at the undergraduate level for bachelor's degree, unfortunately, there's not much when you enroll. Once you're at Purdue, you may be able to apply for some scholarships through your department, but they are going to be very, very limited. The other thing I always caution students about on this is you may talk to many other universities and they say, oh, yes, absolutely, we have scholarships. But their tuition in some cases may be $70,000 US per year. After that $30,000 scholarship that they give you, keep in mind the total cost is still going to be very similar to Purdue University. So we do find in many cases that are the value and comparing to other universities with a similar name and reputation as Purdue, you'll find, although we don't offer scholarships, we still are competitive. That may not always be the case, but it is in many situations. All right, well, we're finishing up here, so be thinking of those questions and put them in the chat, or when we can chat just a little bit. But I want to remind you, definitely check out our website. I put the link there, so I hope you got to see that and maybe even explored a little bit more of our website to learn more about Purdue University. Another great way to connect with us is connect with us on social media. So those we're on the social medias that you see there on your screen. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Definitely check us out there if you're a social media user. That's another great way to get an idea of what it's like to be a student at that university. And we also have a full virtual tour on our website that you can check out as well. So with that, I'm going to unshare my screen so I can go back to seeing myself and maybe those of you who are also there, and I can focus on answering any questions that you have. So any questions, feel free to put those in the chat or perhaps unmute and chat with me directly. Thank you.
So it seems like, yeah, Sophia already asked a little bit about a few different topics. One about the scholarships, which you already explained, but also asking maybe about test scores and whether doing the IB would have any sort of impact on the application. I know that you said, that it's not a preference per se, but maybe something to do with the rigor aspect there. And also cost per year. I noticed, I mean, you put the prices up there, but I maybe would be interesting to know if it varies significantly according to different majors or kind of where business management might lie on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all great questions. So I'm first going to talk about, for test scores. Again, we're test flexible for the SAT or the ACT. So it's not technically required. I will say our average test scores for competitive majors is going to be right around in the 1400s. That would be for more engineering, computer science for the SAT. And then for other programs, typically I would say a 1200 or better would be preferred. Again, there's no minimums, but that's where we find a lot of our students are who are competitive and applying to Purdue. As far as the IB, absolutely, the IB helps. We are well aware of the rigor of the IB program, especially if you're in that program and doing well academically. We know that you are prepared for U.S. College education. So typically for IB students, I usually give the rule of thumb of a 5 or better in your individual class subjects is what we're going to be looking for, what we prefer. So if you're getting a 5 or better, then you're going to be a competitive applicant to Purdue. So that does help. It helps your application stand out, especially if you're meeting those guidelines and looking at that. And then the other thing about cost, yes, what I put out there on the screen was the average cost. There are some programs that have a brief additional cost. So for engineering would be a good example. I believe it's an additional $2,000 per year for that program. Management, the school of business may have a small one, but it's not as much. I believe engineering is the one that's the most. Our professional flight programs, if you want to become a professional pilot, that one probably has the most additional cost because you do need to pay to rent some of the planes for the plane fuel as well as some of the simulator costs. So, but otherwise, so there are some additional costs. That's why I typically say I give that range about, I would say, between 40 to 45,000 US dollars per year, because that includes some of those additional costs. And not all majors have additional costs associated with them, only some. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If there's no other questions, I will. I know you have a brief break. I think there's another school, so I'll give you guys a break. But I will put my name and email in the chat. So if there were things that you didn't want to ask in front of the entire group, or things that you think of later and you want to connect with me, feel free to send me an email and I'll be able to point you in the right direction or answer those questions. So I'll put my details or email there in the chat for you. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So Purdue is very large, with about over 50,000 students currently enrolled. We are in the top 10 of international student enrollment. So what that means is we have about a little over 9,000 international students on our campus. That's going to be roughly about 18% of I think it's around 18% of our students are international. And that would be both graduate and undergraduate students. If we're looking at only the undergraduate level, about 11% of our students are international. And that's going to be a little over 4,000 international students. So again, our students come from all over, about 130 countries represented. And I believe from Peru, if I remember correctly, what I was looking at is about 75 Peruvian citizens currently enrolled at Purdue University as of this last semester. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today here, Danik. And really, from my experience at Purdue, it's definitely a university that everybody should check out. Lots of great facilities, great programs. So highly suggest it. Please, if you're interested, come and check it out. And thanks again, Danik, for taking the time to talk to us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Andrew, for having me and for organizing this. And if there's ever any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night. I'm going to log off, and then you guys can enjoy your break before the next institution.
All right. Thanks so much, Danik.
Have a good night, guys.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
All right. And then we will have our next session here at 8 p.m. with Siena Heights. So you're welcome to come back then, or you can stay here in the link, and we'll see you at 8.
Hello, Danilo.
Hey, Andrew. Hey, Muriel. How you guys doing today? Good, good. Happy to be here again. I can't believe it's been a year since we did the fair. Okay. Awesome. Andrew, I don't know if I told you, but we have our international counselor, Wilhelm. He'll be joining us. So if you see somebody, his name is Wilhelm Westheimer. Perfect. Awesome. How's the fairs going so far? No, there you go. How many universities presented it already? Okay. That's amazing. That's great. Absolutely. I wish those resources were there when I came to the US in 2013. It was a lot different for sure. Kind of hope for the best, that's right, yes. It's good, it's been going really good. We're fully open, all classes are in person now, no more COVID, thank God. And we just brought 20 students this fall, so it's been our biggest class ever since COVID happened. It was the most diverse class we ever had at Siena this far. So we had students from Colombia, Israel, Peru, France, Netherlands, Switzerland, UK, Brazil. It was a very diverse group for sure. They're happy. Yes, happy to see that the international students are going back to the US. The visa processes are not as hard anymore. I guess they're loosening things up again. So that's really good to know. That's right. Yeah, I heard in Brazil they're waiting I think 6 to 8 months to get an interview. So you have to apply very early if you're trying to go as a tourist. But for students, it's very easy right now. Oh my gosh. Sure. Yes, I do have the PowerPoints that I wanted to present. So let me just see here. Am I allowed to share screen? Yeah, I believe so. Perfect. All right, Andrew, can you see the PowerPoint here? Okay, so I'll do the little. There you go. And I know we're about to start right in 1 minute. 1 second here, because I think my Andrew, did you see Wilhelm in there by any chance or no? Okay. Yeah, because I sent him the same Zoom link, so I think the same link should work for you, right? Okay. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, but while we wait for him, would you like me to start talking to the students about Siena, or should we wait a little bit?
I think, yeah, actually it looks like Willem's heading in right now. Yeah, I'll give you guys a quick introduction and we can be on our way. Again, thank you for everybody who's still here tonight. I appreciate you staying around for all of our presentations, and I'm sure a few more will be trickling in. Everybody, we always see a few more come in 5 minutes after the hour. This is Danilo Riella. He's the representative here from Siena Heights University. I got to visit Siena Heights earlier in the year when I went to Adrian, Michigan, and had a very nice day on the campus. And I'm sure that you're going to love to hear about it as well. Danilo himself is a student who's gone through the process there and is now helping other people accomplish the same thing. And so I think you're going to find that he has a very unique appreciation for the university, and they have a lot to offer. So I will let you have the floor. And Willem, also, I'm making you a co-host so that if you'd like to participate, you may. And the floor is yours, gentlemen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. Good night, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here again with you all. I got to meet Andrew, like he said, when he came down to campus earlier this year. We talked a lot. He made a beautiful video of Siena Heights. I was showing Wilhelm the video today, and if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend watching it through the SCORE YouTube channel. Wilhelm's here with us. He's our international counselor. Nowadays, I'm working more with our transferred students, so he's here to kind of see, what the fair looks like, kind of get to know you all a little bit. If you do decide to go through the process to enroll at Siena or getting even started, Wilhelm would be the person that would work, more directly with you. But Wilhelm, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell him a little bit about you and, the fact that you're a student right now at Siena Heights on your senior year as well.
So, hello everyone. Like Danilo said, my name is Wilhelm Weisheimer. I'm actually senior at Siena Heights University. I've been studying at Siena my whole college career. I'm also used to be part of the soccer team. I just played my last season. And right now, as Danilo said, I'm involved with all the international.
Looks like your internet's going down a little bit, Wilhelm. Okay, while we wait for Wilhelm to come back, I'll go ahead and start with the presentation. Basically, Siena Heights University, we're a liberal arts institution. We are located in Adrian, Michigan, which is about 45 minutes from Ann Arbor, about 1 hour from Detroit. So we're pretty close to a lot of the major cities here in Michigan. We're also pretty close to Toledo in Ohio, which is also a major city. Siena's been around for about 103 years old. In 2019, we celebrated our 100-year anniversary. We actually had the biggest enrollment class in the history of an institution, as well as the biggest international class. I think that year we welcomed about 30 students from, all over the world, a lot of different, countries and diversity. Siena's mission is to assist students to become more competent, purposeful, and ethical through a teaching learning environment that respects the dignity of all. So as I said, we were founded by the Asian Dominican sisters back in the day, and that's the mission that they have been carrying for all of these years. And to be honest, as somebody that was a student there, I can definitely say that's definitely, something they live by. The way you're treated, the way you receive the assistance, the support from the faculty and from the community as a whole. As a student at Siena Heights University, you're more than just a number, right? You're part of the community, you're part of the family, and that's how I feel a lot of the students feel like when they get to Siena. We have a lot of clubs and organizations. I was part of the international club during my time in college. Wilhelm is part of the international club as well. And we do a lot of things together. We have, 75 students from so many different countries. And some of the things I would like to share about Siena Heights, like I said, founded in 1919 by the Asian Dominican sisters. It's a liberal arts institution, so the focus on holistic development, right? Even though we offer about 50 majors and minors as well on campus, we want our students to get out of there with much more than just their majors. So what the ability to communicate, the ability to present, the ability to, go look for a career and do well on the interview. So you do have a lot of career development, mock interviews and things that will help you once you get your diploma succeed into your career. We receive a lot of feedback from, employers and companies out there that they love our graduates from Siena Heights just because of all of their, ability to do critical thinking, communicate, express what they're thinking in a way that's not judgmental, but also their attitude. The Siena Heights students, they have a very positive attitude, and they don't just wait around to get things done. So that's something that's very nice to see, that we've been able to create this experiment and this experience to the students. We have been named College of Distinction and Catholic College of Distinction for the past, 4 years now, I believe, which is something we're very proud of. So within the schools of Michigan, we have this distinction as well. Over 7 international students, more than 30 countries. We also have very good comprehensive, scholarship packages. So if you are talented in sports, if you're talented in the arts, if you're talented in theater, music, band, orchestra, there's opportunities for everybody to, earn scholarships, as well as if you have high GPA. So if you're a good student, we definitely, would provide you with great merit-based scholarships, which vary from $6,000 all the way up to a full tuition. So that's now off the table as well. Some of our newest programs are cybersecurity, exercise science, agroecology, and sustainable agriculture, right? The cybersecurity is an amazing major. It's an area that's been growing a lot, not only in Michigan, but, all over the world. So it's definitely a career of the future. Exercise science is also a very growing field. Ever since we implemented this new major, it's become one of our, biggest programs. As of right now, we have a lot of students that they love sports, they love dealing with people, they love helping them, become their best version. And they have I guess, biology love, the love for biology. So they go into exercise science as well. We also have a new wrestling program on campus, which is both for male and female. Very, very nice. I think in the next year or so, we're going to be creating and developing a wrestling facility on campus, which is very exciting. We also have an esports program. I believe we have 7 games right now. Some of them are Overwatch, League of Legends. We have FIFA. Wilhelm, if you're hearing me, I know you're a little bit more involved with esports as well. You can tell, some of the games that they have. But yeah, it's a very exciting. We have a state-of-the-art esports arena that it was a big investment for us, but we play all over the US against professional teams as well as against other universities. So it's an amazing experience. Like I said in the beginning, we welcomed the largest class in 2019, and a lot of the students are going to be graduating within the next year or so. So it's very exciting to see, the students that came in 2019 going into their graduation right now. Wilhelm is one of those students. And right now, he's already working with us in the office. Throughout his time at Siena Heights as an international student, he was a student ambassador, which means he worked for our office, giving tours to new families that were coming into campus. It's a great way to not only, develop yourself professionally, but also to make some money. As an international student in the US, you are able to work up to 20 hours a week, right? When you're in the semester, and then in the summertime, you can work unlimited hours, up to 40 hours a week, which is normal. But during the semester, only 20 hours. But it's still a great way to make some money, help with the cost of college, help with your personal expenses and things like that. So as a liberal arts institution, we have what we call the liberal arts concept, right? So there are a few requirements that everybody that comes to Siena Heights, they need to take regardless of the major that they're going for. So if you see here in this slide, you're going to see that we have about 32 credit hours. And some of those classes are pretty standard classes that you're going to find in every university: your English, your math, your Latin science. There's a visual performing arts as well. Also a religious studies class. And then we have in the bottom here, those are what we call the integrated learning classes, or the course seminar classes. Those courses are courses you can only find at Siena Heights University. The first one is an introduction to college life. So basically you're gonna, learn about the history of Siena Heights. You're gonna learn all of the resources on campus that will help you succeed. And you're gonna learn a lot of, study habits, time management, and things that will guide you through your college life. Once you're done with that class, then you're going to go to the more, complex ones, which are in your freshman year, you would take diversity and community, which is LES 141. Then you would move down to inquiry and truth on your sophomore year. Then when you go to your junior year, you would take contemplation and action. And then in your final year, you take justice and peace. And like Andrew said, I'm a graduate from Siena Heights University as well. And out of the LES classes that I took, the Justice and Peace class was by far my favorite class, I think out of my all 4 years of school. The professor, he had a PhD in psychology, and he was also a detective for the police department. And it was an amazing, experience to be taught by him. He was bringing in a lot of like real life case scenarios that he was working in, or that he had worked in the past, and sharing with the concept of the class. So it was an amazing experience to kind of finalize my, my 4 years of university. Very, very good way to do so. Here are some of the programs that we offer on campus. This list, I'd say it's pretty accurate right now. There might have been some changes ever since this slide was created, because every time we start a new semester, some changes can be done. Majority of those majors are definitely there. Business management, we have accounting, business administration, international business management, marketing, sport management. Those are definitely the most popular majors amongst international students, right? So if you do a research, majority of the international students that come from to the US, they either study engineering is number 1, I believe, and then business administration is number 2. And then you have other majors as well. They're also very popular. So our international students on campus, they go for, a lot of different majors. We even have students that come from nursing, students that go into more of a criminal justice if they're planning to stay here in the US. We advise them as best as we can. Once you become a student at Siena, you do have 2 people that will be your main point of contact at Siena, which is your primary academic advisor. And then you have a faculty mentor, which is basically maybe the director of or a professor from your major of studies, which these 2 people will work together to guide you during your 4 years of school, so you can get the best out of the college experience. Make sure you have your degree plan, all of the classes that you need to take, all of the changes that you need to make as well, and make sure that your schedule fits with any other activities that you need to do on campus. So if you see any majors here in this list that maybe brings your interest, feel free to send me a message. Feel free to speak to Wilhelm as well. We'll definitely leave our contact information here. We'd be happy to hear from you. Maybe even have a one-on-one Zoom meeting where we can talk about some of those majors more in depth. And here's a little bit of student life. As I said in the beginning, we have about 60 clubs and organizations on campus. You have, the psychology club, you have the finance club, you have the international club, you have Spark, which is the student body organization, right? Student government on campus, where you have your president, you have the people that take care of the resources where all the clubs can do activities. And as as a member of a club, you can participate in all of those activities free of charge. The International Club, we put together 2 major events every semester. So maybe, in the fall, we'll go to Cedar Point, which is the biggest roller coaster park, amusement park here in the US, and I think maybe in the world. So we always go there during the Halloween, which is a very fun event. We also go to NBA games. We go to the zoo. We go to, watch football games. Anything that the international students feel like they want to do, we are able to provide that to them. We just want to make sure that once you become a student at Siena, you do have that, that experience, you experience things that you've never done maybe in your country that are new to you here in the US. So you can have that, cultural experience for sure. So here's something that kind of touches base a little bit on the financial side, right? As an international student, and I was there, Wilhelm is there as well. We know that going to school in the US can be very expensive, right? You have the currency change that sometimes it's different from one country to the next. And so with that, Siena Heights University in 2019, we approved what we call the Siena Tuition Advantage. So essentially here in the US, a lot of the schools, they increase tuition on a yearly basis, right? So you come here and you get your financial aid package, and you think that that's where you're going to be paying every year. But then next year, the university goes and they make an adjustment to tuition. That's the case a lot of the times. And you never know exactly how much that money will increase. So at Siena, in the course of 4 years of school, the student will only have one tuition increase, and that's on their junior year, right? So you go your freshman and your sophomore, and you're paying the same price for those 2 years. And then once you become a junior, you have a $1,000 fixed increase, which is, a little bit different than those other universities here. So you see the private universities, their increase over 4 years is about 4,105. versus public universities, which is close to 2,000. So that's something that we did just to make sure that the families can plan out their 4 years of school and give give the students and family more of a certainty in terms of what they're gonna be expected to pay. So that always helps for sure. Here are some of the sports that we offer at Siena Heights. So as you can see in the men's list, we have baseball, basketball, bowling, cross country, football, golf, lacrosse, soccer, track and field, volleyball, and wrestling. And then for women, we have all of those, basically all of those as well, with just a few changes. And then we also have the co-ed sports, which are cheer, dance, and then esports as well. Right, guys. So as I said in the beginning, right, we have, and we're a very diverse institution. So whatever talent you bringing in, there might be a scholarship for you there. So you have the art, you have your theater, you have your music. For art, if you draw, if you like photography, if you like graphic design, we do have what we call the art portfolio review day. So basically, if you have a portfolio of the things that you have done, you can schedule a virtual meeting with the art professors and have an interview where they can ask you about your passions, about your interests, about your artwork, and based on that, you get assigned academic scholarships. That's something that we can do anytime. I believe they're available once a month to do the art portfolio review day. So if that's something that you're interested in and you didn't know that you were able to come to the US and receive a really good artistical scholarship, that's something that's definitely available for you at Siena Heights. And then if you like theater, either just acting or musical theater, we also have kind of the same opportunities where you can do an audition for theater, where you can have a one-on-one conversation with the theater department, and based on those skills that you can show, you get assigned theatrical scholarships. And then if you play music, either voice or an instrument, you can do the same process. You can have an audition, or you can maybe record a video and send that to our music faculty. And based on that, you get assigned musical scholarships. We have students at Siena Heights that sometimes they are so talented and so faceted, where they can apply for an art scholarship as well as music, but at the same time they're playing soccer or they're in the esports team. So I definitely recommend bringing in whatever talent you feel like will help you pay for college, essentially. Okay, and me and Wilhelm will be happy to guide you through the process for sure. So the application process at Siena is pretty simple, right? We do not charge for the application process. You can do it online at go.sienaheights.edu/apply now. And of course, we're happy to send you that link as well. Once you go through the application process, it takes about 25 to 30 minutes to complete. There is an essay at the end of the application. And once Wilhelm receives your application, he'll be able to reach out to start the acceptance process, of the part of the process. So you're probably going to have to send him a copy of your high school transcripts. If you're a college student, your college transcripts as well. There might be a personal statement involved. There might be a Zoom interview. We just want to make sure that you get all the information that you need and that we get all the information that we need to be able to provide you with the best opportunities at Siena Heights. But we're always happy, to speak to you, to your parents, and give you all those opportunities. Some things that are very new to us, right? We recently been featured on an Amazon Prime TV show called The College Tour. And I guess we do have a little bit of time, so I wanted to kind of show a snippet of the college tour to you guys. So if you give me 1 second here, I'll play that to you. That's true, Andrew. That's right, because you do something very similar, right? Especially. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's something we're very proud of, right? We're actually the first school in Michigan to be featured into this TV show. I'm sure there's going to be other schools that will be there as well. But Wilhelm is actually one of the actors that was invited to be part of the show. So I'll show you guys his episode.
I don't know if my internet is stable right now, but just really quick, let me present myself. I'm Wilhelm Weisheimer. I'm the one that Danilo been talking the whole meeting. And well, I'm a senior at Siena Heights University. I'm part of the soccer team at Siena, and I'm about to graduate next semester. And now I'm involved as the international admissions counselor. I've been the one responsible for trying to bring as much international student as possible. And it's nice because I'm also international student. I'm from Brazil, and we have so many international students at Siena that makes this place feel even better. I can talk a little bit also about my major because my major is exercise science. It's a new program at Siena Heights University. And when you go to the exercise science program at Siena, you basically can specialize in 3 different fields. So you can be into the human performance and fitness, you can go to the pre-rehabilitation, or you can go to the pre-medical, basically if you want to go to do a physical therapy in the future, that would be the program that you would be going to. And another thing that is very nice about the program is Siena Heights actually has a work together with a institute that is called the Gray Institute. We have here in Adrian. And for those who don't really know about the Gray Institute is a company that was created by Gary Gray. Gary Gray, he was a physical therapy for a really important, like a lot of important players that you guys probably know a little bit. Like he was a physical therapy for Michael Jordan. He was a physical therapy for Kobe Bryant and so many others. So it's a really nice combination that Siena Heights been trying to do, and it's been working pretty good so far. So I've took a couple classes with the Great Institute. They are amazing people. And today, actually, I just came back from a fair from the Great Institute and was like very, very awesome. So for those who are interested in go to the exercise science, it's a really nice major, really good major. And yeah, I think that's all. You can show right now the video that we have.
Perfect. Thank you, man. No, absolutely. Like Wilhelm said, guys, the Gary Great Institute, he's definitely a legend into the physical therapy world here in the US. He has a context with a lot of, the NFL teams, the NBA team. He has treated a lot of like high-ranking athletes and people. They actually travel from wherever they are to Adrian to be treated by him. So it's a big deal for us, and it's awesome that we have that relationship with the Great Institute, where students can have that experience as they're going through their majors. So that's awesome for sure. So let's take a look at the one of the stories of the college tour here at Siena Heights University. We chose 10 different stories during the college tour. You can hear from a lot of different people. If you have YouTube, and I'm sure most of you do nowadays, definitely type the college tour Siena Heights University, and you should be able to watch the full episode. It's about 30 minutes. So let's take a quick look here.
Thanks, Ben. Students come to Siena for more than a degree. So true. And they find community, purpose, and a desire to serve their wider world.
You have to change the screen.
Of all days.
Sorry, Andrew.
Yeah,
you did? Oh. Maybe, yes. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think that's what it is. Hold on. Let me share again. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, there you go, guys.
Thanks, Ben. Students come to Siena for more than a degree. So true. And they find community, purpose, and a desire to serve their wider world. Siena welcomes students of all faiths and respects the dignity of all. Knowing that a college is a good fit is one thing. Navigating the process can still seem a little complicated, especially if you're an international student. Meet Wilhelm, an international student who has benefited from the support of advisors and staff who come alongside the journey to ensure success. Wilhelm, please take it away.
Thanks, Alex. Hey everyone, soccer has been a huge part of my life since I was little. When I arrived at Siena Heights University, I wasn't really sure about my major, but I knew that I wanted to study somewhere along the lines of athletic and training. I knew that SHU was the right place for me since the beginning. The Center for Student Success gave me a full assistance in planning the best college program that would fit me. My advisor helped me choose a major in exercise science, which will lead my passion for sports into my future professional career. Being an international student, they created a plan to help me pay my tuition and even award me an athletic scholarship. They make it affordable for anyone to attend and offer many scholarship opportunities. The staff had made the whole process so simple and helped me make this place feel like another home. With Siena Heights University being a liberal arts school, there is so much diversity that helped me gain knowledge beyond just my major. My professors and advisor have been so helpful in leading me to my next step and have been focused on helping me prepare for my future from the start. Now, I'm not only involved as a student ambassador, but I'm also served as the international admissions sponsor for Siena Heights University. Now, my professors and I are working to set up my internship as I head toward my senior year. They are making sure that I'm completing all of the final steps so I can get into the job that I have always dreamed of. I feel prepared for my future, and I'm excited to see where I go next. Thanks for listening. Alex, over to you now.
Thank you, Wilhelm. Your Siena experience sounds like it has been a smooth and rewarding process. Siena welcomes international students who, by the way, pay the same tuition rate as all other students. In fact, there is one tuition level that applies to all Siena undergrad students on the Adrian campus. Siena also has the Siena Tuition Advantage, which is Siena's promise to hold tuition rates steady for 2 academic years for full-time students enrolled at both its residential campus as well as at the SHU global locations and online program.
There you go, guys. So that's a little bit of the college tour here at Siena Heights. Like I said, I definitely recommend watching the full episode. There's a lot of, other stories from other students that you'd love to hear from as well. I think we have, a nursing student, a business. We also have education. So lots of different majors that you can hear from the student perspective as well. But as Alex said there at the end of the video, right? This is true. All Siena Heights has is one tuition rate. So we do not have, a different rate for international students. Everybody that comes, regardless of they're coming from, pays, a similar rate. Of course, we discount with the different scholarships that everybody qualifies for, right? So the end result is always a little bit different depending on what you qualify for. But there's no out-of-state fee or international fee. One thing that's very important about Siena as well is that Siena is a flat rate institution, which means not only we have just one tuition level, but we also, you can take between 12 and 18 credit hours and the price is the same. So you have that flexibility to always, take a little bit more classes or less classes depending on how busy you are. As an international student, you have to be at a full-time status, right? To be, I guess, in status here in the US. So between 12 and 18, that's where you can be. If you're an athlete, there is a lot of flexibility with your scheduling. The advisors will always make sure that you have, the classes in a time where it's not the same as your practices. The professors are always very helpful when you have to travel away for competitions, for tournament, for games. So they always let you do the assignments, either before or after, as long as you develop that communication. We always say at Siena Heights, everything's about how you communicate. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there during the process, and you're gonna get to know some amazing people that will definitely guide you at Siena for sure. Wilhelm, would you like to add anything about your participation in the college tour?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Yes, would you like to add anything about your participation in the college tour? How did you feel recording it? What was your process? What was the process like?
Well, it was very nice. We spent like the whole week, every single day of that week, probably like 12 hours involved with the whole episode. And it was nice. Like we had experience of being actually recording for a TV show, because this is not only on YouTube, it's also in Amazon Prime and Apple TV. So it was like an actually movie. It was very nice. Like I'm glad that Siena Heights is part of that, and I'm pretty sure that all the other students, they felt the same thing.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, no, we're glad that you're able to do it for sure. It's something that you're always going to be able to have it with you, right? So it's an amazing experience. And guys, I guess now we can open up to a few questions if you have any questions about Siena. I will say, it's a pleasure being here with you. We have a lot to talk about from the student perspective, but also as, people that are working at the university right now. So I think we have the best of both worlds in terms of, information to provide to you. I will say, before you ask questions, that and I know some of the most concerning things for international students as well as for the parents is, the safety, the support that the students are going to have when they, they go so far away to go to school. So as a smaller school, we are able to provide a lot of the things that other big schools don't offer. So we pick all of our international students up from the airport. We also drop them off once they need to go back home. If there's anything they need during the semester and they don't have a car on campus, we do provide grocery trips every Friday or every Saturday, depending on the semester. So once a week, we have a bus that takes students to the grocery store. If they want to go to the mall area that we have in Adrian and do all of their things, they can just, go with the bus, and we do provide those services. If you need a bank account, if you need a driver's license, if you need to go to the doctor, if there's any emergencies, we're the type of school that's small enough to still be able to provide all of those things for you. And me and Wilhelm were, some of those people that would be taking you places, that would be kind of guiding you through that process and make sure you feel like, like home at Siena. Normally, we do an initiation process every time we pick an international student from the airport. So if you're going to be leaving on campus or if you're going to be leaving off campus, we take all students to, buy the things that they need to buy. If it's bed sheet or pillows, or if they need a bank account in the first week. We do that for sure, just to make sure that you have everything you need to start, successful at Siena Heights. So with that, I'll let Andrew, I don't know if you have any questions or anything that you would want me to add that would be beneficial to your students. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're very innovative, I would say. Liberal arts, as a liberal arts school, we're always changing, always adding new things. I don't know if I think I told you that we have a Dominican sister as our president, Sister Peg Albert, and she's a very futuristic lady. Ever since she took office in 2006, she's basically doubled the size of the institution. So if you see there in the video, the football stadium, the baseball stadium, a lot of the most modern buildings that we have on campus, it's all being built under her presidency. So she's done amazing things to Siena Heights for sure.
I think we have a couple of questions in the chat that people been writing.
Good. Absolutely. I'll let Wilhelm take on that because he's a soccer player there right now. So Wilhelm, what about the scholarships for international students for soccer?
So yeah, Siena does offer scholarship for soccer players, and this is all gonna be combined with the soccer coach. So what I usually suggest for students who want to get a scholarship for soccer is prepare your highlights video playing soccer. Usually I would say send an email to coach presenting yourself, saying like, hey, I'm Wilhelm. I'm I'm applying for Siena Heights University to become one of the international student. I play as whatever position you play. It's good to tell coach, also send your transcripts to coach, showing that you are a good student, but the process of being like your academic process, of course, gonna be with me. But Siena does offer, so coach is gonna, I will be sitting with coach, and coach will be telling me how much scholarship you're gonna be getting as a soccer player. So it's all gonna be depending on your GPA, your high school GPA, and well, how good you are as a soccer player.
That's right. Yeah, and the video definitely helps. If you have a highlights video, definitely send that to Wilhelm. He'll be able to work with coach on that. But not only you qualify for a soccer scholarship, most likely if you play soccer, you're probably also going to qualify for the international scholarship. So things will kind of be, placed on top of each other to give you the most money, I guess. And then I do see another question. Does IB help on something? What are the scholarships we need to apply for? Okay, so yes, we definitely accept IB classes for sure. That's something that will really increase, how you look like in the eyes of the admissions people, right? In terms of like GPA, of how you challenge yourself as a student. If your GPA is above a 3.5, right, your GPA from your country converted to the US, we have something at Siena that's called the Academic Scholarship Competition Day. So every juniors and seniors in high school right now who have a GPA above a 3.5, they can actually qualify to participate in the Academic Scholarship Day, and it can be all virtually. And during the event, you'd have two interviews. One interview would be with, a professor from the major that you're going for. So if you're going for business, you would have an interview with a business faculty or a business director. And then you have a second interview with a staff member. It could be an admissions counselor. It could be a coach. It could be, an advisor from Siena. And based on those interviews, you get assigned, academic scholarships. So just by participating on the day, you get a guaranteed $1,000 in addition to your $6,000 honor scholarship. So that's $7,000 just by attending the day. And then if you do really well, you can actually compete for a full tuition scholarship. We normally welcome about 80 students per event, 70 to 80 students. So it's a great opportunity to meet other students from the US and from other countries as well, and earn additional scholarships. Let's see here. Could you give me the email of the soccer coach? Wilhelm, if you could give Sebastian the email of the coach and your email as well.
Yeah, no, I'm getting it right now.
Perfect. Thank you, Sebastian. And guys, feel free to ask, any other questions in the chat. We're happy to answer any questions. Or if you want to speak to us here, that's what we're here for. Yep. Marcelo, yes, yeah, he's from Peru. That's right. But he's from Peru, but he's actually living. He was living in France before he moved to Siena. Yeah. And we have a lot of Brazilians in the team too. A lot. Oh, and Sebastian saying that he played with Marcelo. Wow. That's nice. It is. Oh man. Sebastian, I definitely recommend reaching out to Marcelo as well. Ask him, what's his experience at Siena like. I believe he's really enjoying, because I know he's already very popular in the international club. He's always participating in the meetings. So I hope he's having a good time, and I believe he is.
Yeah, I wrote down coach information. So his name is Drew Crawford. He is a very, very nice coach. He is going to be checking every single person that sent him an email. So yeah, he's amazing. And I put my email as well. So feel free to send me an email.
Thank you, Will. Absolutely. Andrew, the students that are here today, are they looking to go to school for fall of next year? Okay. Good. Yeah. So you guys still have definitely, a little bit of time to go through the process. One piece of advice from somebody that was there in your shoes, right? 10 years ago, the earlier you start this process, the more time you're going to have to really take care of everything you need to take care of. You have to apply, you have to get accepted, you have, conversations and negotiations with the university that you're considering. All those things take time. You have to do your credential evaluation portion of the process where you translate all of your documents, and you have to go to the visa interview. There's a lot of steps, to an international student coming to the US. It's not as easy as an American student that's just here. So I definitely say, 8 months is a good point to start getting those things ready for sure, so that not everything's coming all at the same time. We do have, a lot of students coming for this winter though. We have about, I think, 7 to 8 students that might be coming for this winter. So it's a little bit half of what we normally bring in the fall. But I believe that by next fall, we're probably going to be reaching a new goal, hopefully for us, in the probably around the 30 to 35 students, if we are able to provide good scholarships and the visa process continues to go smoothly for the students, for sure, because we have a lot of applications right now. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I really appreciate you, Danilo and Wilhelm, taking out the time from your day to talk to us and tell us a little bit more about Siena Heights. I really enjoyed my day there when I went, and I could just, feel a very genuine, caring energy from the university, and it shows here today too. So we hope to have you back next time. And definitely, if anyone here is interested in Siena Heights, reach out to us, or you can get in touch with Danilo, Wilhelm directly, and I'm sure they can give you more information.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you for having us here. Thank you, everyone. Hope it was, helpful information. We're happy to participate again. Next year, we'll definitely be in touch. So good luck on the next days with the other presentation, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, and please send me an email, because we're gonna be happy to have you guys here at Siena Heights University.
You guys have a good week.
Okay. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
And on that note, thank you everybody for attending the fair today. Tomorrow we take it back on at 5 p.m. We're going to be kicking off with another round of universities tomorrow. You can check out the full schedule. We did a preview last week on the channel. There's information being sent out every day as well. And with that said, thank you and have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.